Hey, what's going on, everybody? Xbox All In channel, host Sega Forever here. We got a special broadcast for you guys today. A lot of news has been
He's been
dropping.
CD Project Red.
Microsoft, basically, Microsoft dominating the news cycle.
He's been
Um,
CD
but
Project
we're
Red.
gonna talk about what happened. We'll touch on the stuff that happened last week with the
Oh
court case.
yeah. Why did
Uh,
you just do it like this?
but
Oh
what
yeah.
we'll do, we're gonna focus more so less on all the news that dropped today.
Earbuds got bought.
And we
Right,
got
right.
Eva, the world's most powerful gamer. Go ahead, shout yourself out, bro.
Hey, what's going on, brother? How are you? Always a pleasure to be down with my brother Sega Forever on the Xbox All In or the All In channel and podcast. Obviously, the Wrecking Crew. We don't get to do much because of time differences and always has to be late. But there's certain occasions where we're able to kind of squeeze, and then hopefully this will be one of them, right? One of these momentous occasions. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But it's good to be here. Let's talk. We got a lot of good stuff that came out. A lot of stuff, maybe not the way we wanted it to come out, but nonetheless, it came out. And I think that everything that we've been saying through the years, especially myself and you, that's we've been vindicated in a lot of ways, and that's basically why I think it's good to talk about it because we're not new to this. We've been saying this stuff,
Yeah,
and people call this crazy, like we said, like we've talked about.
yeah, dude, and it's. I know it's kind of an impromptu thing, guys, but I just
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to. Oh, Unlimited's here. What's up, Unlimited, brother?
What's going on? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Unlimited got his stuff on there. Yeah, man, but we can jump right into it, brother. I'll tell you. I mean,
Yeah.
so I know I've been talking about this on my channel for a while, especially when it came
Right.
to KB things. Look, I know a lot of people out there don't like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've said on videos on my channel that this is the kind of stuff I really like. I like
Yes.
looking at the mechanisms that go on behind the scenes, as well
Mm-hmm.
as what we see in the news. Taking that kind of stuff, looking at it, breaking it down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that's just the way I am, and I know a lot of people are not like that.
Mm.
One of the things I did say on my channel, which I think is important, is like I always wanted this AKB deal to happen. I don't know,
Yes.
Eva, you can jump in on this too. It's just because I wanted to see all the stuff coming, right? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because me and Hibas, but we've been dealing with Sony for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As you can say,
On
man, a
a
lot of you guys call us like,
on the streets where it all began.
well, that's why I like what you guys, how we took the Xbox thing and how they tried to use that against us. Dude, we're not, dude, if anything, dude, we're Sega fanboys.
Yes. Yeah. We're really. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we are. That's why when people always used to use that word on me and stuff like that, I didn't care, dude, because I don't rock with Microsoft in that way. Now I am a fan of Microsoft. I like what they're doing. I'm definitely a consumer of their product, and I think if anything, connection to Sega, they're like the second iteration of what Sega was.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. Right. But I also think they've somehow, in some ways, because that's kind of what they did with me, that they've won us over. Right.
Definitely.
They have found ways to win us over as Sega fans, as first and foremost true first Sega fans, right? Not like Dreamcast guy, not like Happy Console Gamer that they call themselves real Sega quote unquote Metal Rock Jesus Sega fans, but yet they suck on Sony's cock way more than they do Sega, which tells you right there they weren't real Sega fans. Period. Any real Sega fan hates Sony, despises them. Why? Because of their history, how it all began. Even Peter Moore, that used to run in a professional level, hates Sony. Okay,
Yeah.
and it is what it is, right? And it's wonderful. Unfortunately, that it's had to come out this way, but it's wonderful that it has because, like Unlimited said on his podcast or on the chat a few weeks, well, a week ago, he said that the AV, that the FTC had became the the number one insider for Xbox because all the dirt has come out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that was a really good way of putting it, a very clever way of putting it because it's true in a lot of ways. And I don't think people saw this coming. I don't think people expected this. I think people were going to be more. It was going to be more about the conversation about why you want Activision, what can it cause long term to benefit you but hurt others. You know what I'm trying to say? I think people were expecting that it was going to be more about making Microsoft look like dogs and look like they're just selfish, or that they just trying to control and be dominant because they have money but really don't care about the industry. And it's been exactly the opposite, like we've always expected, right? Because we've always said that Microsoft has made a lot of these moves to help preserve companies like Activision, because Activision has been around since the very beginning. When Atari and Odyssey were out, they were publishing games back then. The first Spider-Man game was published back then by Activision on the Atari, right? For example, to give you guys some perspective, right? And if I'm being long-winded and you want to come in, feel free, Sega, forever. Please don't, don't hesitate. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
I'll just say this, dude. I mean, like, if you guys didn't know this, man, Sony fanboys, they're delusional, right? They're the most delusional, and the reason why the reason this stuff is happening into right now is because these guys are just like Sony, dude. They're evil and they lie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Mm-hmm.
you guys lie so much. This is the problem. Like, if your parents tell you never to lie, here's the problem with if you're a habitual liar. You end up believing
Yes.
your own crap.
Your own bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that you can't tell reality from fiction, right?
Yes.
You can't distinguish between truth and what's the truth and what's the lie.
Well, I think E-Rock said it. Cognitive dissonance or something like that. He said it's pronounced. It's something like that they believe their own bullshit.
Well, they've always been that way. And so what
Right.
basically happen when they have the showcase that they have, right? And they're in shock and awe. Or then
Mm-hmm.
when the FTC, they thought the FTC was the brilliant. Which if
Yeah.
you guys look, dude, I talk about this all. If you're on my social media, man, you guys know I'm not a big
Mm-hmm.
fan of government stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can speak on that firsthand. Right? I just say that much.
Right.
But this is why when they have like something that happens with the court case, right, where you have Microsoft coming in there being questioned, and they think that Phil Spencer is going to get hammered, that Sarah Bond's going to look stupid.
Right. Right.
You know, this is why they end up falling apart.
Well, it's like Unlimited just said. Look at his comment. He said, "Everybody is mad." Matt said, "Spend Sony out of business," but they ignored Sony's business practices, harming Xbox, and you can't make this up. Yeah, it's exactly what you just said, and what he just said in the comment. Everybody's acting like Sony didn't start this BS fucking bullshit rhetoric.
Right.
Look at how all the dirt had came out that they tried to buy Starfield, right? First. And Phil said it, I don't know how much better can you express yourself. He said it perfectly. He said, we were already in third place as a console seller, right? And the perception, because they know that perception is a very strong thing, even though it doesn't make you money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But perception is what casuals follow, right? So if they would have had a case where they had Starfield exclusive, Silent Hill exclusive, let's say Street Fighter, I'm just speaking hypothetically, and Microsoft would have just stayed behind with just doing whatever they did first party wise, and whatever they could get from little smaller independent studios, they would still stay in the third party space or third place space. And Microsoft is trying to become the first place space, but they're trying to do it the smart way by offering much more options and making the ecosystem a broad and expansive thing for everyone. Like he said, they had to think outside the box. No pun intended. They had to think outside of console. We got consoles? Yes. If you like consoles. We got PCs? Yes. If you like PCs. But guess what? We got tablet covers, we got your phone covered, and we got your cloud save covered, where if you want to play anywhere cloud is available, to a TV, whatever the case may be, we got you covered, right? And it's giving you the offer of you bringing your extensive library that you paid all your money for with you at all times, without the fear, right, of having to start all over or losing it, which is a fantastic way of executing it. So it's brilliant how they've done it, which I think would be a great thing. If you don't mind, can we talk about it, firsthand, about how the whole Sega situation was all being done behind closed doors, and we spoke about it, and why was it, and why would it be important if you may, brother.
Yeah, sure. Just real quick, I will mention that if you guys have not read or listened to any of the content that was going on with last week's court cases and stuff like that, I highly
Yes.
recommend you do so, because
Oh
there's a
yeah.
lot that you can gather from all the
Oh
information.
yeah. A lot of things to educate you. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. So, like for me and Hebot, one of the things we've always kind of criticized Phil for doing is being like a really nice guy. And if you guys remember, man, like what 5, maybe 6 years ago, Phil would always address the gaming community as a whole, to include Nintendo and to include Sony. But Reggie feels to me he's gone, and then I forgot the other guy who was running with Sony. So maybe there was
Hmm.
these guys knew each other, and that industry
Hmm.
was like that, but it's definitely changed. And that's one of the biggest takeaways I got from the court case. It took the power
Right.
he about earlier. They took the power of the federal government to get to get Spencer to actually say what was actually going on, man. Because we all know how Phil is, and I'm not hitting him for that either, dude. Phil is Phil, right? And so I mean that's just the way he is. But being put under oath like that, and I think going
Hmm.
through the grind, man, going through the grind these last couple of years, I think it actually shows in all the documents, all the stuff that's being put out there, right? Yeah, and
Hmm.
don't listen to no ponies. Don't listen to the gaming media. See, as you
Hmm.
these dudes are absolutely clueless. Most of us knew what was going on way before this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
the government,
Hmm.
I understand. The government is absolutely and unabatedly hopeless, dude. The
Hmm.
reason you should be getting mad at the government is because that's your tax dollars going down the drain. Is basically what that is, dude. I mean, it is that bad. It's a waste of time and money. That's
Well,
on a whole.
the other biggest problem too, brother, to add to what you're saying is that you got to understand Microsoft has been very quiet deliberately, even though people took it as, oh, they've just been quiet because they're punks because they're scared. I said, no, it's all tactile because
Right.
you don't show the hand that you're dealing when you're playing poker. You get what I'm saying?
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta play. You gotta play that game because if you show your hand too early or too late, either way, right? They can go, what you call it, they can lose. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Any wrong move can hurt them, right? Especially them because they don't get a pass like everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So for me, like you just said,
Hello.
yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no.
look, it's all come out. Stuff like CD Project Red that they wanted to buy. It says from software that we're trying to buy, and even the guys who did Kina, the people who did the Gunk, the people can fly. All these people, Crytek, Remedy, all these people that we say, yeah, you think they weren't trying to buy them? Of course they did, but they didn't want to because these dudes were like, whoever ran the place, especially in the case of Remedy, because we know because Sam Lake was kind of vocal about it. He said, I'm not the boss. I am the leader of gaming, head of gaming, but I'm not the one who runs Remedy. He said that in an interview. And when he said that, I took it as, oh, I guarantee you Microsoft tried to buy them, but he was out of his control. If he had a choice, I'm pretty sure he would stay with Xbox. You see what I'm trying to say? And then it comes out today that they were trying to buy them as well, right? You know what I mean? And again, sometimes you have to use your biggest weapon and asset, and they clearly have it, and that's money, capital. Like you've always said, the capital is pretty much, endless in comparison to any other generation company in history in this medium, right? Um, so like you said, it's very important, and it's good that that this stuff came out, not for the sake of bragging, because a lot of people probably take it as, oh, y'all want to brag. No, because now people see that what we've been saying and others, a few others, that no, Microsoft was not stupid. Of course, they would try to do this, like buy Remedy or like buy Crytek or like trying to buy CD Project Red, which makes fucking 1,000% sense because they've had a relationship since the 360 and OG, right? The same way that people, how people always say, oh, it makes sense that Sony bought Insomniac. It makes sense that Sony bought, Naughty Dog. And what we've always said, absolutely, 100%, because they've had a relationship. It was established. So it does make sense. So why is it that when an Xbox fan says, oh, it makes sense that Microsoft buys something like Sega, right? Because Sega and them have built a relationship through the years, and it's just gotten bigger and grown to be pretty fruitful so far, especially for Sega because everything that's coming out, Sega's putting it on Game Pass. Everything, even the stuff that they do with Atlas, right? Which shows you that they're happy with the relationship they got with them because they're getting paid. So why is that wrong when an Xbox fan says that? And that's us being stupid, crazy, wishful thinking, or just being overzealous, so to speak, right? There's no reason for that because it makes perfect sense, and we've always said that. We never cried when they said,
You got. Looks like we lost him. Hey, Vodka. Thanks, man.
was
Yeah, check it out tomorrow. Oh, okay. There you are. You kind of dropped
what
for a
I
second.
said, right? Oh, I'm sorry. What I said when they bought Insomniac was, it's about fucking time. That's what I said. Because they did all that relationship with them, and it took for them to go on Xbox and do a game. The game didn't do well, but yet Microsoft helped them build that new engine, and then they outsourced it by basically recommend them to Sony, Disney, right? Oh yeah, use them. They could do a Spider-Man game. Then it finally worked. You know what I'm saying? It finally worked, right? And then when it worked, then Sony goes, "Oh, we got to take this opportunity and grab it by the balls." And what did they do? What did they do? They went and purchased them. Why? Because they're just thinking about their benefit in the future with more Marvel stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't buy Insomniac because they wanted the well-being and benefit of Insomniac. That's why Ted Price came out and said, "Hey, we just want to keep our independence. You know what I'm saying? As long as we can keep our IPs." All that bullshit talking he did, and then the minute that Sony said we'll buy you, and that they got that fame that they've been looking for, or that they're overdue, because to be honest, they were overdue because they've done really good stuff in the past. Like Song of the Deep. Like things like the Resistance series, and even the other game that they did that came out multiplat. I forgot the game of. It was on 360. What was it? Huh? Fuse. Yes, that game Fuse, exactly. Which was a very decent game, also. They were long overdue, but it's a shame that they only got it, and they only got that recognition when it was beneficial for Sony. You see what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
As opposed to Microsoft, like we've been saying for years, when they do something, it's because they want to help build that studio that's small that has potential to grow. You see, big difference, very big difference, and people don't want to accept that and believe that. Look, it came out they were trying to buy Thunderful Games, which is the people who did the Gunk. The Gunk probably hasn't done as well as it should have or deserved, but it was an awesome game. They have a lot of potential. That's a really good acquisition that they could buy and help them grow. You see what I'm saying? So now, the excitement. Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta Hey, what's up, Unlimited? I gotta step away for a little bit, guys. So if you don't mind, carry the conversation. I'm just gonna mute myself real fast.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
Hey,
Problem.
what's up, Unlimited?
What's up, Hebot? I see you
What's
helping the world out getting these Starfield controllers.
Yeah, man. I just.
Oh man. Oh, Hebot dropped. Oh, damn it. Hey, what's up, Fire Boss? Yeah, so Hebot dropped. Oh, there he is.
Am I here?
Yeah,
you see me?
Yeah, I can see you now. Now you're gone again. Yeah, I don't know what's up there. Yeah,
I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's like I said, I've always told you that if I can help out, I'd like to help out. That's why I even told you, Unlimited, if you want the headphones and you don't happen to find it in your area, let me know because I got my hands on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something my mother always bestowed on me, and it's always stuck with me. I like helping people, and plus this gaming community should be about helping each other out. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, sometimes people don't appreciate it or look at it as, oh, you're just stupid, because they feel like only helping themselves is the only thing that matters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unfortunately. unfortunately. So damn, brother, did you see? Man, I feel so vindicated with that news today with Xbox trying to buy Sega at some point, which
Yes.
which I said long ago. I guarantee you they're going to try to buy them because that would be a big, a big uh, positive acquisition for them for the Asian market because they're so well known, right? And they
Mhm.
have so many beloved IPs. And I've always said, well, people say, well, what's the point? How they can help Sega? Well, because with the unlimited resource they have, they can actually go back, revisit old IPs to create new games and
Mhm.
create new stuff and create new games that are unique and different with the Sega style, flavor, and aesthetic. And it would make sense because they won't have no restriction. Because Sega's problem is they've been having money issues for a long time, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, man. I can't wait to the day that we get on here and talk about well after Phil Spencer puts out the tweet that Sega's joining Xbox and everybody loses their mind except for us Xbox fans. I can't wait for that day. And it's gonna happen, it's gonna
I think
happen.
it is too.
Listen, here's why it's going to happen. One, Phil Spencer has been saying since the Activision deal that they're not done. They're not done making acquisitions. All right, that's one. Two, we saw with the leaks. He did you? I read the email presser he sent to the Xbox brass. He wants. It's clear he wants Sega, and he talked so highly about what they could do for the
Can
Xbox
you hear me,
brand and
brother?
Game Pass and everything. Yeah, I can hear you. What's up? Yeah, and he talks so highly about all that. So, it's going to happen. When it does, I get ready to revisit a lot of the same talking points as we have even more
Can you hear
fun.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Hubot. Uh, yeah, but you know what I'm saying, man. Uh, Sega's partnership with Microsoft Azure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Wilkins, because people try to make it seem like Xbox has never done anything to help any developer or publishers before purchasing them. Like they
Can
they
you hear
they,
me,
they
brother?
pretend. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Hebot.
Hello?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Hello?
unfortunately, um, Sega Forever ain't
Shit.
here. So
Hello? You can hear me, brother? Can you hear me? Unlimited?
yeah, I can hear you, but I don't think you can hear me, man. So I sent you a text.
I can hear you right now. Now I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's my stupid fucking headset connection. This is so stupid. Go ahead. What were you saying, brother? That you said this is why you think it's gonna happen.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I was saying that because one Phil Spencer said for years now since the news dropped that they're not done. They're not done
Mm-hmm.
purchasing
Mm-hmm.
studios, right? And making acquisitions basically. Two, I when I read the email that leaked email, oh not leaked email because it was sent for legal purposes. When I read the email that was sent to the FTC, he talked very glowingly about Sony and what not Sony but Sega and what they could do for their business, and so I think it's going to happen, and I can't wait for that day. And Wilkins here said reminders so Sega's partnership with Microsoft Azure, and I was saying I'm glad he brought that up, Hebot, because people just make it seem like Microsoft never does anything for the industry, just goes around
Right.
throwing money at them. When the
Money.
reality
Right, right,
is,
right.
yeah, when the reality is, with all these companies, they've had some form of relationship. They funded something for them. In this case, now remember last year, Sarah
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn put out the tweet about that partnership between Xbox and Sega. I think people forgot
Mm-hmm.
about that because we haven't. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Wilkins was referring to, that was probably the announcement for the cloud Azure. Maybe that was it. Maybe not. I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
But I do specifically remember Sarah Vaughn
Sarah.
putting out a tweet
Yeah, her
about,
tweet. Yeah.
yeah, and so a lot of this stuff is just groundworks for the future. The
You
Xbox,
might.
the Xbox brand Hebot is at a point, is at an unstoppable force right now. It's just an
Oh yeah.
unstoppable
Oh
force.
yeah.
and there's nothing Sony can do. There's nothing Sony could do, and that's why the Sony fans are more upset than ever. I mean, I'm literally seeing temper tantrums.
Oh yeah,
Temper
oh yeah.
tantrum
Well,
from
I
them.
mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. And again,
And
look, go ahead,
oh no, and let
finish.
me just say this so I can
Yeah,
let
yeah,
you
yeah.
speak. And it's funny that although Phil, everybody's saying loud and clear that Sony has done everything possible to harm our business, harm Xbox. For some reason, that seems to be completely ignored, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
just hyper focuses on what Xbox is doing and try to paint them as the bad guy when all they're
Mm-hmm.
doing is retaliating. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I guess that they wanted them to go the way Sega did, but that's just not going to happen. They got too much. Listen, I love this is why I love capitalism
Yeah,
because
yeah.
big bank kicking Lil Bank's ass, as New Legal would say. Right. This is why I love capitalism, Hebot,
Mm-hmm.
because of stuff like this. Because Sony tried to fuck around, Microsoft responded, and look at where we are now.
Yes.
Now they're going to be now Sony's going to try to finesse their way. I mean, just saying stuff like if the Activision deal goes through, they're not going to give Activision or Xbox
Yeah,
the
yeah,
PS6 dev
yeah.
kits, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that is just so that they could try to be like, hey, but see, Xbox promised to put Call of Duty on our console while self
Mm-hmm.
sabotaging themselves to try to make a false point. But they already lost. It was clear if this year is a clear alone, enough proof he bought that Sony's lost it all, lost the plot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what is, man. I don't know what is. And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, remember I said in your podcast the other day, it was brief, but I said Sony's gonna wish by the time this week is over that they never went to court. Remember I said that? And
Yep.
that's exactly what's happening. Because you saw that the truth came out and Phil, put it out there that one of the reasons why Minecraft, remember how people were like, oh, Microsoft deliberately didn't make a good version of Minecraft on the PS5 on purpose. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it came out that Sony on purpose didn't send them the dev kit until last minute. Like they were one of the last people to get it, just to make give them a disadvantage to make their software less, I guess, palpable or less appealing, or the better version of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was them. It was a Sony decision. So
Hey,
things
sorry guys.
like that we, oh, awesome. Things like that we would have never thought we would hear came out in the dirt. Them saying how Sony didn't even bother to give them the dev kit deliberately while they were giving it, meanwhile giving it to everybody else, right? And then people are gonna still sit there and be like, "Oh, Microsoft is the big bad wolf." Look, that list came out. That list has people from Moon Studios,
Mhm.
Crytek, Remedy, The Gunk, People Can Fly, the people from that did Returnal. They were trying to buy them, and that's why Sony bought them. They worked with Sony all those years, giving them exclusive, and didn't bother to buy them. And I guarantee you, when they heard that Microsoft was trying to buy them, that's when they gave them a deal. Sony. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they want to make sure that they cut off all corners as long as it hurts Microsoft, because they want to hurt Microsoft. It's not that they give a fuck or they want to be competitive. No, they want to hurt Microsoft, and that's all it's always been about. And I've always said that. We've always talked about that. Even the people who did Kina, they're trying to look at them as a potential acquisition. And I bet you it's because they haven't been able to bring Kina to Xbox because they don't have the money. So they're probably, okay, you don't have the money? What about if we acquire you and you become part of the family and you can bring Kina and bring other games in the future? We'll help you make them. Because Microsoft helps people. They help developers. That's what they did with Moon. That's what they did with Studio MDHR with Copperhead.
Mhm.
That's what they did with the
That's what
people.
That's what the
Go ahead.
whole Xbox ID program is. Now, remember,
Yes.
Fortnite launched on their Idea Xbox program or something like that.
Yes, sir. And remember, they even helped the Korean developer with fucking PUBG. And you saw when PUBG came to Xbox, it became a phenomenon too. It became
Yeah.
really big. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And again, how can you deny, with all the facts on the table and all the truth? Now it's just cemented, because now everything that we've speculated and said and told, I guarantee you it was because of this or because this happened. We're pretty sure this is what was going on. But just because it wasn't said, people were like, oh, yeah, y'all bugging. You crazy. Microsoft ain't doing shit. And look at how small the world is that almost 90% of the things that we suggested, said, and even speculated without actual proof, but just based on the history of Xbox, how they do business, the history of how things been done before in the past, we had an idea and knew these things were in play. But there's a lot of other things that probably didn't happen. In fact, like Sony being involved, or because they're not the leading platform, and developers thinking, oh, well, maybe if I go over there, it'll be more beneficial for me, and then finding out the hard way that's not the case. You see what I'm saying, brother?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I want to hear Sega Forever's take rather on this too, because we were just started talking when he came
Yeah,
on. But
I had to
no,
I had to mute
no,
the
no, no.
volume, so I'm kind of lost. I had to have my son called, so I had to take care of that.
No. Unlimited bringing up the point how this cements how everybody was saying that Microsoft does nothing to help the industry, that they're just about themselves, when it's the complete opposite. And this shows the proof with everything they've been doing behind closed doors. Even though they never said it, people are like, "Ah, not bullshit." Now the truth, and the cat is out the hat, so to speak, and now we know. Now we know the truth. And this is all they've been doing. Like anything that comes to Xbox is to try to help them, not to try to hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
As far as developers.
No, I actually love it, dude. I mean, look, we all know Microsoft's not going to get a fair shake, but I mean, it doesn't matter anymore, dude. And like I say, dude, thank God they have money, right? That's the one thing. Like I always say, that's their superpower. That's my. But it's kind of cool to see like the documentation and everything like that. Like, yeah, people today talking about the companies that are out there and how Microsoft just try to scoop them up. Microsoft doesn't have the power to force people to join Xbox, right? And that's one thing I like about the documentation that they're showing, dude. It's very clinical. It's very thoughtful, right? When you see all those hundreds of over 100 companies or whatever.
Yes, over 100 companies. Yeah.
Right. It's not a lot of us, because we have the Xbox, we are in the ecosystem, we use Game Pass. There's people on there I would love to join. I've been saying that some of these guys that are on the list would be a welcome addition. And you see Microsoft building these relationships with them. Shout out to Sarah Bond, most definitely, like Anna Perna and all these guys, right? So it's great to see that Microsoft, like you're saying, people might want to say that, but the cat's out the bag. They're looking at their bottom line. They're looking like how they could help these developers. Just like Unlimited said earlier, man, with the idea of the Xbox program, that has become like a huge blessing for them. Because we remember, dude, back in the day, dude, that's what PlayStation, the ponies was holding that over us. It's like, oh, you guys don't have any indie games. And then Microsoft was basically like, oh, okay, well, we'll put indie games on there. But the problem with that, what the Sony guys don't realize, because they're full of, almost swore, but they're full of crap, right? But what they don't realize is Microsoft did that, and Microsoft was actually like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. They put Chris Charlin in charge. And then you got a whole like the foundation laid.
Microsoft is right. To add to what you're saying, Microsoft is almost using the bit for bit the same playbook that Sony used as far as acquiring a bunch of developers that are up and coming. The difference was Sony, when they did that, they just did it to get the exclusivity, to keep it off, right? Microsoft is trying to do it to help them grow.
They also did it because they had no games.
Right, absolutely, 100,000%. You dog.
Unlimited truth strikes.
Let's not forget IGN was playing freaking. What was that Dark Souls ripoff they had? Bloodborne for like 2 years before anything significant came out on the PS4.
And guess what? They were even trying to look Unlimited. That you said Dark Souls, real quick, Bloodborne rather. They were trying also to acquire From Software. It's on that list.
Yeah,
they approached them.
I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I hate those type of games, but that's still funny. And here's the thing, Keybot. The moment Uncharted 4 released in 2016, that's when Sony abandoned all the indie. Because I remember reading the reports about how devs were saying Sony abandoned us, and apparently nobody cared. The same people that were furious at Microsoft for not having indies in 2013 were the same ones who did not give one iota of care when Sony abandoned indie devs, and Microsoft picked up the slack after Uncharted 4 came out, and then all of us. That's also when people pretended Sony had games and stuff as well. Last generation, the narratives were so nonsense. As great as
Mm-hmm.
I loved a lot of games, then the narratives were just the worst.
Mm-hmm. Shit. Imagine they were talking about the power break. That tells you how bad it got.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was horrendous. But it's so poetic because to know that while everybody's talking about Bloodborne, Microsoft was trying to buy it and acquire it
Mhm.
from software. Now, I agree with you. I can't stand the from software style Bloodborne, Dark Souls games. But I would have loved to see them acquire them if they could at least make a brand new sequel to Ninja Blade, right?
Yeah.
Because I love Ninja Blade, right? So you get the good with the bad, but absolutely, absolutely, it's so hysterical uh, how all this is coming to fruition,
I
and the
mean,
pony. Go ahead, go ahead.
oh no, I'm sorry. I wasn't saying anything.
And all you're gonna see is, like you said, is just you're gonna see the temper tantrums
Mhm.
from the ponies. It's just gonna get worse. Now after this list came out, see, because the only thing that's bad about this and negative about this is that now the value of all those companies that they're trying to buy can actually go up because they know Microsoft is chasing them, right? So now other people can try to go and see if they can sneak themselves in there, like a Embracer or like a freaking Tencent, which I can't stand because they don't know shit about gaming. They're just about controlling shit because they have money, right? That's the only thing. But I really do believe and hope that after this acquisition thing with Activision is over, whether they do or they don't, right? However it turns out, which we all know it is, right? It's inevitable, especially after the FTC made themselves look like retards and dummies. Um, to the point where the judge didn't even want to talk about it and told them, "You already talked about this. Let's move on. I don't want to hear it because it's pointless." That Microsoft can actually go and still continue and ultimately buy Sega. And I think it will happen too because if you see, Sega just keeps putting all their games on Game Pass,
Mhm.
all the
Oh,
new
so
shit.
have you guys gone deep into that, or did I miss that?
No, not
Okay,
we
okay.
didn't go deep. Well,
All
you
right.
can start if you want, but
No,
look,
no, go
I think
ahead.
it'll happen though. I think it'll happen because they're even putting in the Atlas stuff, and you remember their Atlas and them have a partnership. They're like a company, like they're partners as one. Um, that's why they're called Sega Atlas. And even now with the Persona games being on there, so the relationship is definitely working, right? You
Well, you
know,
should give
and
us the trailer for that new game they're working on. That
the
was
new game that the people at the Persona is doing, yeah, which
yeah.
where everybody was saying, oh, the new Persona game is going to be a PS5 exclusive. Remember that?
The,
Dude,
the,
you saw how fast that narrative changed. Because as soon
Oh
as that
my god!
released, everybody was like, "It's coming to PlayStation, right?" I was like,
Right?
"Dude, that was funny, dude."
they were
Oh
so
my
scared.
god!
They were so scared it was going to be exclusive to Xbox. It was
Yeah, dude.
hilarious.
Straight.
Hmm. I think they did clarify that it is though that was going to be multi-plat. Um, but again, like I said, the potential of them getting something like Sega works in so many levels because it's not just for the Asian market; it's for the preservation of Sega itself that's been hemorrhaging in so long for so many years. Because I told people, look, Sega started off really well, right,
Mhm.
in the 360 era because they were doing brand new stuff they never done before, but it still felt like Sega because they felt unique, right? And they said, well, what type of stuff did they do, Eba? These so-called gamers that don't play games, don't really investigate or play the game. They did obviously the Condemned series, right? They started off with that, which to this day is still exclusive to 360, the first one, right?
Mhm.
Then they did the second one. Remember, they had Alpha Protocol, which was also done. They published, but it was also done by Obsidian, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yes,
It
exactly.
was.
It was.
It was like a collaboration, and that game was really strong and really good, right? Then they did the Cave, which was a smaller indie game, felt very Tim Burton esque, and it was on the arcade place. Then they did Hell Yes. Then they did Renegade Ops, right? Then they also have made, what was another game they had did? I forgot. Well, you get the idea. They did a lot of, and then even going into the Xbox One, they came out with Toomba the Badass Elephant, even though it was
Mhm.
smaller, but it was an excellent game, right? And I said Sega was really hitting a good drive and strong point because they were bringing back games that had that Sega flair and that were unique. Yeah, granted they were smaller, but they were starting small, make to work their way up, make money, and then they could do bigger things. And you started to see that they brought the Fantasy Star Genesis onto Game Pass, and then it was exclusive only to Xbox for like X amount of years. It was a long time before I think it even went to PlayStation. Um, and you saw that they were doing these Sonic games and bringing them over, and even through back compat with all the Sonic games, like the one you saw me playing the other day, that people were like, "Oh, I hate it," but yet they're sucking on the one that's coming out now, the Superstars, which was the exact same concept and idea, which just shows the hypocrisy again, like I said. Um, but the potential here is really about the preservation of them being able to visit all those dormant IPs that only had one game or haven't really been able to evolve and move forward with new games, sequels, or maybe even new versions and iterations of them. Because remember, they also did great things like Mad World for the Wii, right? And it stood stuck on the Wii. They did it and published it with Platinum Games, right? As far as Sega, with Anarchy Reigns. That's another game they did. So again, the sky's the limit. And that's what brings the most excitement, what we talked about for so long. If they can be with somebody like Microsoft, with the capital that Microsoft has and the backing and support, believe me, Sega can go back to their heydays or glory days, if you will, back again at some point as time goes on and moves forward. And we could get a proper binary domain, another excellent game that was a new IP that they did, or a sequel, right? That a lot of people didn't touch and didn't play, and even though it's back from back. So that's where my thought process comes as far as the excitement and the limit and what the limitation, the sky's the limit is as far as them owning or being able to acquire a company like Sega.
T-Bot, are you there?
Yeah. I that's what I gave my thoughts, and so now you guys can go too as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Unlimited.
Yeah. The Sega news was absolutely fantastic, and I see the chat. Hey, first of all, let me say this: I'm glad Matt Booty's finally getting the respect he deserves. I've been
Oh,
calling
yeah.
for it, and I think Sega Forever saw my tweet from 3 years ago that I was trying to give the man his respect.
Yeah.
So now that people see that behind the scenes, people like him and like Phil Spencer does not like Sony. Y'all
No,
probably
no.
didn't. Y'all probably didn't see y'all probably didn't see the show I did last Friday.
Yeah.
Phil does not like Sony.
He really doesn't.
Show?
Matt,
I wrapped it up today.
yeah.
Bro.
Okay, yeah. Matt hates them even more.
Well, you see, did you see that?
Right?
Did you see that one comment? They said that Microsoft was willing to spend as much money as possible to dethrone Sony and take them out of the business, if that's what it took in order to get their respect. I was like, wow.
I think that's still the I think that's still the goal. Honestly.
Right.
I don't think that actually gone away.
Yeah. And, listen, Phil, it's pretty clear that Phil likes Nintendo. He got a good relationship with them. He likes all these other EA, you name it, he probably likes them. It's clear that he sees the likes of Google, Amazon, and Apple as competition, and don't want them putting their grubby hands on gaming. A market that they're set to dominate and be ahead of the game as. But he don't like fucking, oh shit, he don't like Sony. He don't like Sony at all. And because it's clear that Sony's just a big headache to him. It's clear that
Yo, Unlimited. You pissed a lot of people off with that show because you got over 1,000 views on that video.
I know.
I'm pretty sure you got some paid watchers out there.
But before we started that show, I had a troll try to pull the usual. But the usual stuff don't work on me because I pay attention to what's going on, man. I pay attention, and it's pretty obvious that when Phil says that Sony wants to block Xbox Survival, what do you expect them to do? For
Yeah.
some reason, these people expect Phil to be like, well, Sony, I guess you win this round, like a fucking like that. Excuse my language, like the claw from Inspector Gadget. You win this round. You win this round, Inspector Gadget. That's what he
Oh, that was good. Bro.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what he expected. They think Phil Spencer sits in a chair petting a cat, watching Sony do all this, right? And just laying down to lose.
Well, it's also, like you said, too, the good point that you pointed out earlier was, and Sega Forever said this a lot of times as well. I remember him saying it. They act like Sega, right? Or not Sega, excuse me, I'm sorry. Like Microsoft is Sega. Like they're going to bully them out of there and they'd be like, all right, we're leaving. We don't like you because they're going to get back off. Like they don't realize they're messing with the wrong company.
Yes.
Like they're not Sega. You know what I mean?
I don't think they realize what Microsoft was, man. And you know what's funny?
Yeah,
I was watching during work today. I had the Xbox documentary in the background, and
Nice.
And Xbox was always competitive, you know, even back then. And I'm talking about before Peter. Listen,
Yeah.
Just seeing that part where Phil, Steve Ballmer and what's his name that started Microsoft?
Seamus Blackley?
No. Phil Ballmer, Bill Gates. Thank you. Phil Ballmer and Bill Gates Seamus Blackley and them were talking to them, and you know what? And it took Bill Gates to approve Xbox when somebody said, "What about Sony?" Right, and even from part one of that documentary, you could see that Microsoft always had a hate for Sony. So it's probably a culture-wide thing. Yeah,
well, you know why it was too, man. That's the age of bravado as well, man. Basically, Sony was sitting there talking trash, challenging Microsoft's manhood.
Yep. That when they released the PS2 and lied and said that it was better than every computer and shit like that and stuff like that.
Dude, they were going to be launching rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
If terrorists got a hold of it, I remember all that crap, dude. The headlines they were coming up with.
Sony didn't only lie about Sega back then. They were lying about PCs, Xbox, Windows, and stuff. I mean, not Xbox, Microsoft and Windows and stuff before. So there's always been a hatred of Sony. It's just nice to see. It's just nice to see it confirmed. This all. It's nice to see this side of it because I've been a defender of nice guy Phil, but it's always nice to see when their true feelings come out. To see how Matt Booty really feels, or how Phil Spencer really feels.
I'll tell you this much, right? This is the thing that's probably the worst that could happen to like the Sony guys. Not that I care, because I can't wait till they're gone. But I'm just telling you right now, some of the stuff that you see with Microsoft is that evil Microsoft, dude. When I first got about like 10, 15 years ago, dude, I worked in the IT department. And I work with a lot of old school IT guys, and they absolutely hate Microsoft. Dude, they'll tell you stories because these guys are programmers and stuff like that. They have that guttural hatred of Microsoft. And some of the stories they'll tell you about Microsoft as a business, right? And so what you're kind of seeing now, man, is you're kind of seeing flashes of that old Microsoft. And I'm telling you, look, I'm gonna be nice to the ponies, man. Just stop. Just stop right now, dude. You guys should have got a whiff of that when the Ukraine thing kicked off, right?
Oh.
They were like, yeah, we're not going to sell you our software. In fact, like that. Or then when the CMA decides to get a little bit uppity, right, in England, and then Brad Smith comes on and goes, this is not, he basically gives them that veiled threat.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't even want to see that Microsoft, dude. That's the bad Microsoft. That's like the you can get the Superman that gets the red kryptonite and goes a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But you don't want the Superman like from Injustice or Lois.
That's that Microsoft you don't want to see.
That's the 90s Microsoft that was being taken to court for monopoly. When there's actually a real monopoly and not this facetious fake stuff we got now.
Because I'll say, dude, in that court, but just in that hearing and just the way Phil's been lately, yeah, you see a difference. You see a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I like Eva, I got 100% agree with you. I honestly feel like Microsoft, like Phil felt that way with the gaming industry, but Sony's been such pricks, man.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
can't ignore it anymore.
Well, I think he's tried to be friends with them,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
right?
100%.
yeah.
I think he's tried to be friends with them, but
I mean,
he's to the
he
point where
literally.
he's like,
Well,
dude. Go ahead.
well, here's the thing, Keybot. Sorry to cut you off there, but
No.
remember when the news first dropped that Xbox was buying Activision, Sony lost $20 billion from that tweet that they never recovered from, by the way. Remember, Phil called him up, and then we find out recently that Jim Ryan tells him one thing, then in court hearings it's the complete opposite. I mean, the dude, he's dealing with somebody who lies to his face. So like, how can you do business with somebody who can't even man up basically and tell you what how he really feels about a situation? Phil tries to, as it's obvious, he tried to do everything the right way.
Mhm.
He tried to
Mhm.
communicate. He did not. Phil and them did not have to do stuff like get a 10-year documentation or sit
Mhm.
there and comedically promise to put Call of Duty games, swear under oath, and none of that goofy stuff. He didn't have to do any of that. But as you can see, he's working. He does what you got to do, and it's clear that. And then after reading the emails and stuff, it's clear that he has a vision that he's trying to get through. And Sony is just the biggest roadblock towards that vision, and it's going to bite them in the butt. It's clear you're going to bite them in the butt.
Oh yeah. In many ways too, because they're now creating negative perceptions with actual developers. Also, remember that,
Oh yeah.
because you think that, let's say, just hypothetically, right? Let's just say if the deal didn't go through with Activision, you really think that their relationship with Activision is going to be the same after all this bullshit?
No, hell
I
no.
highly doubt it. Right?
What's that
I
girl's name?
just highly doubt it.
Or the communications girl, Messave, whatever her name
Oh
is.
yeah, Lulu Cheng Messervey.
Yeah, that
Oh
chick,
yeah.
she has no chill, dude. You can pretty much. She's like your wife, but she's super pissed and she don't care. Every tweet she puts out, dude, is like just arrows, man. Towards Sony, man.
Yeah, she just keeps adding more charcoal to the fire, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the kind of person that would tell, like, if you're bad in bed, she would tell on you, to the whole world.
Yeah.
You know Sega, man. Now, let me tell you something about Sega. I don't want to get on her bad list, dude.
Yeah, man. She's the one that originally exposed Jim Ryan, saying that he don't
Oh,
want
yes,
to call
she
Duty
did.
deal. He just want to block the merger.
She straight up said, "What did you say? That's not what happened. This is what happened."
Yeah. She was not gonna let that fly at all.
Dude, I saw that picture of like her behind Phil walking. She reminded me of the Emperor. And
Yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah,
got that grin on her face.
Yeah.
Like she had that grin on her face like she got good gossip. I know women like that when they got something nice to say.
That nice dirt, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was proud though. It's like I have turned him.
He's walking tall, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wasn't it Tim Dog who put that Yakuza thing? That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That
was Tim Dog, right?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I didn't see it.
It was like a game cover.
Oh, for real? Like Phil was in the cover?
Yeah, that's Phil in the suit. It was hilarious, man.
Oh my god. Phil is like that. Phil is like that gangster godfather, like behind closed doors that everybody answers to, but nobody knows that he's the boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's the boss? Nobody knows. What do you mean nobody knows? Nobody knows. Only those inside know.
Dude, I just I don't want to. You guys ever seen the movie Falling Down? You saw that movie with Douglas? Yeah,
with Michael Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Phil to turn to that.
Oh boy, hell no. For real.
No,
but he looks. You could tell his frustration. You could tell, even with the court. when they kept asking him over and over again about, so you definitely gonna put Call of Duty on there, bro? His answers
Diablo.
was like, yo, like he was done.
Hey, it's on screen now, man.
Yeah. Good shout. Let me up here.
The cop with an Xbox cover. They're so dumb.
Man, that's fantastic,
I
man.
love our community, dude.
Yeah. The Xbox, when the Xbox community on fire, they be on fire.
They be doing some stupid shit, bro. I don't mean to laugh, but that one meme they did was terrible. I was like, yo, the internet is unbelievable. The one they did with the Titanic, it says the people that took the submarine and wake up the next day and they were in the picture of the Titanic with the people's face on it. I was like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have gone that far, but still. I mean, look, I'm sitting over there. You know, Sony guys do way worse, dude. Shit, taking pictures of their junk and sending it to people. And freaking,
Sony fans are degenerates, man. That's what they are.
Well, I mean, after all this dirt has come out, you can't feel sorry for them even more now. Wow, now more than ever, because you know the dirt. You're like, are you serious?
There's that guy on Twitter, man. He was like trying to talk about the case and whatever. And I'm like, dude, like he's making all these excuses. And I just wrote him back straight up. I was like, dude, I just want you guys gone.
Right.
I just want you guys gone. Straight up, man. Because he was trying to say, like, oh, I remember what he said. He's like, without Sony, where's the competition?
Jesus Christ.
I was like, Microsoft is a competition unto themselves. Did you hear what?
By themselves. Microsoft competition is themselves. If they fuck up, they're just going to fuck up themselves. It's not because of anybody else.
No, but Satya, like, that's what Phil was saying, right? Satya is like they're not getting a free ride, dude. They got to show up and they got to produce.
Yeah.
So they don't need Nintendo. We don't need Sony. I mean, Xbox got to straight up provide stuff, which is good, man. When you see that, dude, like you know, it means something. So they got to come up with ideas. This is why Microsoft's doing all this kind of stuff. Look, it doesn't hurt that they're $1 trillion company. I get that and stuff like that. But some of the most innovative stuff comes under crunch, man. Comes under pressure.
Yeah.
Dude, so yeah, I mean, Sony's old, dude. Unless you guys decide to change, I mean, when you looked at their showcase, you can kind of see they saw the writing on the wall. I think it's too late.
Nah, that's smoke and mirrors, man. I'm telling you right now, that's the Sega for that's smoke and mirrors.
Oh no,
that's the Sony. We don't have games, so we're going to pretend that we have variety move. Yeah, and 90% of them games are coming to Xbox anyway, so they're going to hate it. That's how that fan. Yeah.
Either way, I win because that just means they're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. That fan base talked about one game from that showcase.
Yeah.
One, and it was that the last 10 minutes.
You mean Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yeah. They did not care about any other game.
So let's be real. They didn't care about Spider-Man until it became exclusive. Please.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Look, and I'm gonna say this, dude. I looked at Spider-Man. I'm not saying that it looks really bad. But I'm just saying it doesn't meet the standard of quality that you guys pretend it to be.
Well, it's overrated, like you're saying. Absolutely, they're trying to make it seem like it's the godsend when it's not, right? But they do that with all their games.
Yeah. They pretend so hard that it's somehow better than Starfield, and no, Starfield is like next generation. Think of ahead of the game, something we never seen. Spider-Man is wake me up when Spider-Man gets out of New York City.
Oh my dude! Did you not see in the beginning of the year when they had no games that went back to reverting to indie games are great? Weren't they touting Stray?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
They were touting Stray how it was the greatest thing ever. You saw it everywhere. Stray. Even got nominated.
Unlimited,
right?
Yeah, that's Unlimited.
But now that Stray's coming to Xbox on Game Pass, now it's different.
Unlimited. I'm gonna tell you something, bro.
Yeah.
You guys almost turned me into a pony, man.
How?
Cracking them Spider-Man jokes.
Oh, you stupid.
At first I was laughing. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Because I remember, man, I had Web of Spider-Man, and that was a big joke back in the day. Like he's only in New York or Brooklyn, or he's in places that in the cities, and they stuck him in like North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
North Carolina. And so like, they had to put him in a cave so he could swing. That's what I was thinking about. At first, I was laughing. I was like, "Hey, wait a minute! I'm a Marvel guy. I feel like I need to defend."
Hey, man.
I'm just
listen.
my daughter's a DC fan.
She's a what?
My daughter's a DC fan, man. Did I tell you
Oh.
she came out?
Oh yeah, so she on the winning team now, huh?
Oh
Good
my
for
gosh.
her.
I knew
Good
you was
for
gonna say
her.
something. She came out the closet, man. She came
Yeah,
out after
yeah.
we started talking because like I was like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna watch Blue Beetle, baby. She like got all mad and started defending him. Then she tried to use the psychological thing on me, right? She's like,
Uh,
Dad, you like Cobra Kai, and he's Cobra Kai. And then I was like, oh yeah, I do like that. I was like, wait a minute, man. And then I was like, wait a minute, do you like DC? Is DC better than Marvel? And she just looked at me. I'm like, don't even say it. I'll kick you out of this house. Like it didn't even dawn on me, dude. I walk into her room. There's like booster gold all over the place, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not miss this?
Oh man,
But anyway,
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. She on the
yeah.
winning side now. Just,
Oh, dude, yeah, she knows her stuff too. I was like, she's kind of like me, but I was like
mm,
that with Marvel, and then she switched over to DC.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, my first favorite anything superhero related was X-Men, the old X-Men cartoon in the 90s.
Oh
That's
yeah,
that was my favorite before even that Batman cartoon, and that came out the same year. So I used to love the X-Men then, when DC had like the Batman show, then Superman, then Justice League, and then I got into comics and stuff. I'm like, oh man, DC a little better than this.
yeah. They
And
were always
when people hear that, and here's the thing about DC and Marvel, I'm not my fandom with those is not like with Sony and Xbox. Where I'm not a big PlayStation fan at all. I actually like Marvel and I actually respect their history. And actually, you see, people don't know that I still own a lot of my Marvel comics too. It's just I happen to like DC more, you know. And what made me fall off with Marvel though is when they stopped caring about the X-Men, because that for me, at least for me, growing up, X-Men was the Marvel group. You know what I'm saying? It was them and Spider-Man was close second. But now, but that's like there's a time about a decade ago, I think, Sega Forever, where Marvel was trying to replace the X-Men with the freaking Inhumans, and I'm like, nah, I can't support this. Not these boring, not these boring losers. I
But
mean,
if you remember,
huh?
you remember during that time, that's when DC went on that huge run. They
Yeah,
like dominated from
yeah,
like late 90s all the way through like early 2008, 2009.
yep, and
I
that's
was
my
reading their
favorite.
stuff.
Yep, that was my favorite era of DC.
Yep.
That's 15-year stretch from about 96.
Yeah, 96
Yeah, about
around.
96 to 2010. I love almost everything they did. I mean, I'm talking about Grant Morrison's JLA till around Final
Mhm,
Crisis.
mhm.
You could find just so many amazing work they did. Whether it was Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin. That was when Jeff Johns blew up with the Green Lantern stuff.
Green Lantern,
That's why
Flash was great.
that's why my avatar right now is John Stewart Green Lantern, because of that era. You know, he brought back the Justice Society and gave them new life in DC
Oh
in
yeah,
that era. I mean, what a fantastic time! You know, what a
and then they was
fantastic
killing it
time.
on the TV shows as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was a so that's the first time I saw when I saw Marvel. I was like, damn, we're like I used to. It's like when no WCW just
Hmm.
blew up, and then like
Yeah,
they put WWF on their hind legs, man.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that, dude. But yeah, dude. So oh yeah, shout out to Issa, man. Issa, thanks, dude. Yeah, we
Yeah,
pretty
what's up,
passionate on
Easy?
this stuff.
Yeah.
And to the chat too, man. You guys are killing it, bro. Shout out to other Zinc, man.
Mhm.
He always draws my attention to the chat too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox community, dude. We could have done a better job than the FTC lawyer cross-examining Phil.
Oh, it was comical how little Phil literally gave them an economics lesson about how it
Dude,
works when they purchase Activision. That was hilarious. That might have been
you
my
must have
favorite.
loved that, bro. You must have
Yeah,
loved that. Yeah.
yeah, that might have been my favorite part of the whole hearing with Phil Spencer, was that part, man. But I mean, just them not knowing, they had even. I think another favorite part was when Sarah Bond was explaining Game Pass, and the judge was like, "Wait, you mean I don't got to buy the games to play them?" And she said, "No," and it came out like the judge is going to be subscribing to Game Pass when she went on.
You know what I was thinking? Because supposedly the judge's son works with
Oh,
Microsoft.
that's right,
But
that's right.
she was probably as a mom, she's probably thinking, "How about that bastard? Them $60 games."
That's right. Somebody did tell me that. Did tell me that, man. I forgot about that. But that part was also fantastic, man. But the judge was like, wait, you mean I don't gotta buy the game to play it? It's like a light bulb moment, almost like you know how the old cartoons with the light bulb when something gets their head. It was a moment like that. It was fantastic. This trial, I gotta say, I was expecting good stuff to come. I was not expecting this. This has just been brilliant. This has been even better than the Brazil stuff from last year.
Oh man, Brazil, that was one of my favorite moments.
Easily.
Yeah,
That was awesome. We learned so much with the Brazil documents, man. That was perfect. But this somehow is topping that because I know I joked about it, but this really is FTC really is the greatest insiders Xbox has had, man. Because we getting everything because of them.
Dude, that is so hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I have to say that I mean this whole process. That's what me and Heba were talking about earlier. I think he dropped. Hopefully, he comes back.
Yeah, hopefully, because
just to get his. I know he wanted to talk about the Sega stuff because we were talking about it a little earlier. That's why we did the podcast. For Sega coming on board, but I would have to say, man, when Brad Smith did what he did, the one turn for me has always been Satya. Right?
Yeah.
So being like a Xbox person, I decided, okay, look, I'm gonna follow Microsoft as a whole, and I kind of want to know a little bit more than what I know. So I started watching all their events and watching, like I watch all the stuff that they, even for the developer stuff, I watch all that stuff. Right? I mean, it's a little, I ain't gonna lie, dude, some of that stuff's above my head, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but one thing I did notice is Satya would always reference Xbox, just like any other piece of product that they have. Right? No matter what, if he's giving a speech, if he's talking about processes, even when he's doing spreadsheet stuff, man. I mean, it's interesting to me. But when Satya started like getting involved, and then the mic drop moment from him was when he did that interview, and he basically said, "Yeah, well, so let us compete."
Yeah, that was a great one. If you want us to compete, let us compete.
In fact, isn't he doing it tomorrow?
Is he?
I think he might. He's supposed to testify.
Oh, that should be fun. If he's testifying, that should be great.
Yeah, I want to see that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand why they're not putting it on there because of the ramifications. You know, because there is a money and a business aspect to it. Because you see what's happening with the Activision stock, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It went up. It went up.
It jumped, dude. It's just so that doesn't bode well for Sony.
No, not at all. Yeah, and I'm by no means an expert, but I do follow stock markets and business crazes and all like that. So yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that. And matter of fact, Wilkins just referenced Nancy Pelosi put stock in Microsoft. Yeah. Listen, this deal was never going to not go through, Wilkins. And I don't mean for the double negative contractions there, but you know, there was never a situation since 2022 or whenever he first dropped that this wasn't gonna go through. Not a moment of doubt. You know, even when I saw other Xbox guys saying, "Oh, there's a 40% chance," nope, never wavered. No, I just seen too many acquisitions recently, and you know, and for a lot of gamers, Sega forever, this is the first time that they're seeing the process like this. So this is new to them. But you know, I've seen a lot of mergers and stuff like that, big time mergers too. You know, yeah, Dea, I couldn't. Well, I actually fell asleep after work. That's the only reason why I'm here myself, Dea.
Yeah, if you want to jump on, let me know.
Yeah, because I still might be going shortly, so I don't, you know, we can't have Sega Forever working alone.
Yeah, another thing, I mean, so we won't do the Sega thing tonight because if maybe he bought because he really wanted. I really wanted to get his opinion as well. We can do it. We can do it like tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't have my kids this week. So.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. Finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I was responding to Wilkins about the Nancy Pelosi thing. You know, also, how is that legal, man? I do not. I'll say this. I don't think our government officials should be doing stuff like that. Maybe that's just me.
Should be in jail, bro.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You heard me on say that stuff, dude. I don't know how a government job. They get paid well for government.
Yeah, very well.
As government, right? They're over 200,000 a year.
Oh, easily, and yet most of them are millionaires somehow.
Yeah.
It's like something ain't added up, man. Yeah. But this ain't a political podcast, and politicians on both sides piss me off a little too much, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, Yeah, listen, I got my beliefs. There's some things I'm right leaning on, some things I'm left leaning on, but politics as a whole, they drive me crazy. They just drive. Yeah, I'm one of those people. You know what? I'm one of those people who think that we're being purposely divided. That's so for a lot of this stuff, I I just see like a carnival act, if you will. Where my gut tells me that some of these politicians, like when I see Biden support some stuff, I'm like, no, he don't believe in this. But it's just that political divide, if you will. And so that's kind of how I see things. Hey, what's up, Daya?
Hey, dear.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh, we good, we good. I was holding off until somebody could replace me.
Don't worry, we're not doing the shifting tonight.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I can't do that either, man.
Yeah.
I was busy at work. That's why I couldn't keep up with the stuff going on with the. I was trying to keep up on Twitter, but I was like, I put my phone down. I'm getting in trouble.
Yeah. So I didn't catch up until sometime tonight, man. I was so busy with work today. But how are you, Daya?
I'm pretty good. Not too bad. So what was you guys talking about exactly? Are you talking about the news, what the emails that's been dropping that
Mm-hmm.
Well, here you
oh
go.
yeah.
Well, Wilkin started. We left off with Wilkin at no PS6, so he can start.
Wilkins dropping the gauntlet. He said that's uh yeah, it's a lot to take in. I don't even know really what to make of everything that I'm seeing right now. It's too much information flooding me at the moment.
Give it to Microsoft, dude. If they're not getting you, if Xbox ain't getting you in Game Pass, they're getting you in the news.
I know, yeah.
Yo, Final Fantasy dropped and nobody talks about it. They just talk about
Dude.
Xbox.
Dude,
Oh
that's-
well, news did come out that it's like overheat. I was like, what? Now think about this. Square didn't have to worry about PC. They didn't have to worry about an Xbox, obviously Nintendo or anything like that. So all they had is the Sony platform, and that thing still can't handle it. Something's definitely wrong with that box, in my opinion. Because that's not the first time that they've had problems. Wait a minute, you got liquid metal that's melting, and then you got to lay it down and everything. Can't have it straight up or something like that. Now you had it brick. You had games brick it before. What was that? Returnal did that, and now you have Square's Final Fantasy 16 overheating it to where it has to shut down, and you have to wait until it cools down just to start back up again. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, Other Zinc sent me a video. There's this guy, Next Gen 720. I think he used to be an Xbox guy. Now he's a PlayStation guy, and his console overheated live. And Zinc sent me that video, man. That was hilarious.
Live, wow. So they can't deny it. The ponies can't even deny it.
Yeah, they every time this happens and you get undisputable proof, i.e., videos, reports, and everything in between, they deny it, but they'll literally deny it under the same video it happens. And they'd be like, no, well, my PS5 doesn't do it. Yeah, just because yours does. That's like saying, well, because I never been in a car accident, that don't mean people get in accidents. Like it happens all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's the situation here. It's hilarious though.
I don't think so. I think if we're seeing that and we're able to catch it so quickly after the release of that game, I think it's more people out there that's going through that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because everybody doesn't post, a large majority of people don't post stuff. Yeah,
no, they don't. Yeah,
yeah. So they do it, and they'll call Sony or whatever, however you contact these people for warranties and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that is funny, man.
And we're gonna have to talk about that Sega thing. I'm just letting you guys know. We're gonna have to talk about that. Probably not tonight because my brain is like on autopilot. But but
that was the whole part. That was the whole point of us doing this. Is we're
gonna
do the Sega stuff, but then we lost Hebot.
Oh really? Oh okay. He never came back. Oh shoot! I love to hear what he has to say about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll probably do the podcast and we'll just let him roll out because there's some stuff that he was gonna.
Man,
I've never met anybody.
If that comes true,
anything about Sega that other than Hebot.
Hebot, man, I'm telling y'all, if that comes true, that'd be like, this would be the best year ever for me. I won't even ask Xbox for anything else. If they get Sega, that's it. I'm done. I'm in for life. I'm in for life if they get Sega.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know. I was just gonna say they and Sega. That means that everything came full circle
Yeah.
Yes.
because Microsoft and Sega had a relationship way back in the day. I mean,
Yes.
you used to do, the dial up port used to be on the Sega Dreamcast
Mm-hmm.
and was
Mhm.
powered by Windows. And then
Yeah.
after Sega went over, remember they had the deal with Sega. They had like 20 games or something like that exclusive on Xbox. So it'd be nice to just see everything come full circle once that happened.
Man, it's their perfect fit. They're just a perfect fit, in my opinion.
I can
I
tell you.
just,
I'll tell
mm.
you this much with that list that they released.
Hmm.
That's not over.
No, no, no,
What
no.
list? I'm sorry.
There's a list of all these companies that basically Microsoft is looking at purchasing. So they did.
Really?
The thing I love about the list is they basically broke it down. It's very clinical, so I like that. Right? It's the way
Oh, okay.
they were looking at everything, and they even have stuff as like, okay, this is this company. They have A, B, C, D. Right?
Really?
They can help us. This. Right?
Oh man,
So
I love to see that.
yeah.
I love to
So
see that.
but a lot of people are just kind of dismissing it because of the year.
Oh, what year was it?
I think it was like what 2021, right? Unlimited, like around.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was before they started acquiring stuff, wasn't it?
Well, I don't
No,
think.
no, it was around the no, no, no. It was around the same time they were. Because remember, they first announced the Bethesda acquisition in September
Mm.
2020,
Yeah.
and it was official
Oh, 2020.
January
Okay, yeah.
2020. Yeah, and it was official January 2021.
And if you look
Right.
at Mojang, like that timeline,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I like because when you hear people on there, it goes, "Oh well, they missed that opportunity." I'm like, dude, you got. I was like, obviously, you guys are not watching what's going on here.
Mhm.
Right.
Obviously, you're
Oh
not listening.
man, you
Yeah.
just made me think. I don't know what's on the list.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just has hit me, but
There's
I
like
got
Sorry,
my
a
dream.
this is not the unlimited podcast, so we
yeah,
kind of limited here.
yeah.
Okay.
But
I just
that list had like 100 developers and like
Yeah.
10 publishers. It was long.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I wanted to tell you guys. This is something I gotta get off my chest.
Hmm.
To you in the chat. I had this dream like list of companies that I want them to get. Okay,
Hmm.
Sega's the top of that list. Then the next would be Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. I really think that they would fit in a perfect way with some of their talents and stuff. And they're already working on projects, so I would love to see that continue. So, like, let's say Crystal Dynamics was to help with the next Perfect Dark, that would be great because it'd be consistency there. Then
Hmm.
I would love to see IO Interactive come on into the fold. They're the ones that are working on games right now that we know of. I want them in as first party. So that means IO Interactive. Um, I don't know if Asobo can do it or not. I know I heard that people say that they have a 10-year deal to make games with them or something. I would love for them to be in the fold, but if they have that, they don't have to rush and do that, because they have that deal.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what I heard. But I would love for them to get them Avalanche. Avalanche is the one that did Hogwarts.
Hmm.
They are working right now on an Xbox game. Xbox needs to get these people. Get them. Like
Yep.
secure Avalanche Studio. They're working on Contraband. So they would be perfect to fold right into the first party as
Yeah,
well.
you should see that list because there's even publishers on there, not just
Yeah.
Sega.
Publishers? Oh, okay, they
Yeah.
got more
Yeah.
publishers they want to get. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's a
know
big.
Sega's a publisher, but
Yeah, they got a
um
bunch of people. They're like the top.
do they got Japanese ones? I'm curious. Do they have any of them on there? Is it just
Um,
American or European? Or I
yeah,
mean,
I didn't see any Japanese aside from Sega.
then I know we're not seeing the full list because I think Microsoft has in mind the companies that they want. I've always said that Microsoft knows who they want and why they want. They're very selective people. Even when it comes to the games that they pick to put on their platform, they like certain things. Like I can usually tell a game that fits well with Xbox just because of their taste.
Hmm.
And if it brings something unique, if it's something that's good for encouraging cooperative gameplay or multiplayer gameplay, that's something they're interested in. If the game has an identity, like a unique identity, that's something they're attracted to. I know certain type of games that they're attracted to, and publishers and companies. I believe that as well. That's why Double Fine attracted them. This is why Compulsion did. They don't look for the typical things that other companies will look for. They look for unique aspects of these companies, and they saw something in all of them, even Ninja Theory and all the other. We might just think, oh, the game looks good and that's it. I don't think so. I think that what they liked about Ninja Theory is that Ninja Theory always have that mental health thing in their games. I
Hmm.
think that's what attracted Xbox because they're all about accessibility. So
I'll tell you
yeah,
this. I'll tell you this much: if Xbox was an NFL team, dude,
mhm.
they'd be franchised. they would be. They would have like championship. I mean,
Yeah,
the way they break everything down is you think you're watching like the draft.
right, right. They're very good at it too. But it
Oh yeah.
doesn't. It's not hard to see how they pick things and why they choose certain
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, did you see that they paid $117 million for Ninja Theory?
Oh
Yeah.
man, that
So
was a steal.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you now, that's a steal because when they're done, when Ninja after they release Hellblade 2 and we see how big that's gonna be, and that's gonna be big, man. I think that's gonna just be the beginning. What is Ninja Theory gonna do after Hellblade 2? Think
They
about that.
got remember they got that Project Mara game and some other. They got like three. They had three
Oh
games announced.
yeah. I haven't seen anything on that Project Mars though. Have you?
No, it's gonna come out after Hellblade.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know how far along they even are. I heard about it, but I haven't seen anything on it. So I don't
Hey
even know
guys,
what it's about.
just real quick, like, can I address the chat real fast?
Yeah, go
Go
ahead, man.
ahead.
It's
Yeah.
your show.
So Wilkin, and anybody else who wants to know about, so there's that guy Oval, Peter Oval on Twitter.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
follow him. So he's the one that put it off of. There's one of the resources. I'm looking for other ones. But he just basically said publishers under consideration. Then he has a list, consideration set, 100 plus companies sourced through, and based on Xbox Game Pass data, top 250 companies in PC and console. So that's the list that he's put together. And then you'll
Oh,
you'll notice some of the names, like you said there. There's the Avalanche Studios.
yes,
There's
yes.
Bungie was considered. Um,
Yeah, I think they would have got Bungie, but Bungie got greedy. They wanted too much power and independence,
Mhm.
and I think that's the only thing that kept it. Otherwise,
Well,
Bungie would be in another first back as a first party. I really
I,
believe it.
I don't even think from all reports, it wasn't even the power to multiplat. It was the price. So listen, Microsoft did not get here by just people think that because they're opening their wallet that they're just spending stupidly.
Wasting it. Yeah.
No, and that listen, when Sony bought Bungie, it came out that Microsoft was not willing to pay $2 billion for them. Sony ended up paying 3.6 billion for
Mhm.
games that are going to come to Xbox anyway.
Right. That's the thing. They're gonna be multiplayer anyway. Right. If least if and Microsoft doesn't need Bungie to teach their other studios how to make multiplayer games. They don't need that. They got too many that already do it. So they don't need help with that. They don't need help with gas games either. Yes, I know Halo struggled with that in the beginning, but all companies do when they first do it. That's just the case. If you look back at any of them, I don't care Fortnite, any of them. They all didn't come out blazing in glory when they did a gas game. They got to learn how to do it. But I think Halo, like all the other companies, have been learning. And that's why you're not hearing anything about Halo anymore. Because if you don't hear complaining about Halo, they're doing good. That's why I said that Pierre is good. He's very good at what he does. And I'm telling you now that Halo moving forward, you'll never see that again. You'll never see that again from Halo. But yeah, let me see. Hold on, I'm looking at you guys. Okay, you got that. That's what you're saying, to look at Peter or Ovo
yeah,
808.
yeah, just
I
yeah, he's
got
on Twitter.
I don't have
Yeah.
Twitter, but I
And
probably
So
can
he's
still
like
see
he's the
that.
one that, like, when I look at his list, he took like, because there's piecemeals all over the place on Twitter. That's why I told you I had to put my phone away, man. I got in trouble because it's like all this stuff was just coming up.
808. Let's just see if I can find that list.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. I tried to like capture this.
Oh, I'm about. Let me send it to you, Dave. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make things simple for you. Yeah.
It's hard because I don't use Twitter at all.
Yeah. No. You good? I'm about to send it to you right now.
Wilkins going crazy. He's going crazy. He's like, let me see the list.
Oh, Wilkin, it's just there's a lot of stuff.
Oh, you have it, Wilkin? You're ahead of me.
Oh yeah, it's Project Dragon. Wilkin said Project Dragon RPG shooter from IO Internet.
Oh,
that came with-
they doing Project Dragon. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I just sent it to you, Dave.
Okay, is it in Instagram?
Oh no, I sent it to you on Xbox. I thought you were on your PC.
Oh no,
for
I'm
some
not.
reason.
I'm not on.
Yeah.
Xbox.
Hold on. Yeah, let me send it to your Instagram. Just give me just a second. Where's my phone?
Sony helped Square Enix develop Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
They did.
Yes, Mr. Kima.
You
Yeah,
they helped them develop that for real, Mr. Kima.
Mr. Kima knows.
Wow. If they did that, my gosh, what's going on with those studios?
It's because Jim Ryan too busy dodging.
Yeah, record himself and junk. That's what he's doing.
Some of the ponies were like, "Oh, you should just show up." I'm like, "Dude, you want him to get arrested? That dude will
Uh,
perjure himself."
okay, so Mr. Kima said yes, that is accurate. Wow, I'm actually shocked. Um, I'm shocked because they do have good studios over there, so I am surprised by that.
They cut a
Um,
lot of their. They could cut so many of their studios. That's why.
they
That's why I
have
can't
been
stand
gutting them.
ponies. Well,
They
I can't
they
stand
they got
ponies.
rid of a couple of them, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, they have been getting rid of people. Although the media won't say anything about that, but they have been doing that.
That's why these guys be
Wilkins
taking L's.
All
Wilkins
right,
says here
check
it
your
is.
Instagram.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's see. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I hope so, Wilkin. I hope there's Japanese. Because what I would like to see, this is my prediction for you guys. And I don't
Mhm.
care if I'm wrong or not, but Tokyo Game Show this year, the mic drop will be
Yes,
Microsoft shows up
if
and
you,
says,
if,
"We own
if
Sega."
they do that, man, you gonna see me go crazy.
And then you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna drop a trailer for Forza Horizon Tokyo.
That would be awesome, man. That's something everybody's been wanting. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, look at
Everybody
this.
was-
People can fly on this list. Okay, they're
Mhm.
working with them right now, right? They
So a
Yeah.
lot
working.
of those companies they have relationships with already. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, because Phil Spencer had a great quote when he talked about that. Right, he's like, "You don't get a company." I think it was on the documentary, right? You don't get a
Mhm.
company because they're talking about Lionhead. You don't get a
Oh,
company to help you
Lionhead.
become better. You get the company to make them better for you, like that.
Oh, okay.
Basically. So that's what you've been seeing, like with a lot of the stuff. Like what's that? Spirited.
Hello,
No,
game.
well, Ravenlock.
Oh, okay.
Ravenlock, and then you look at the other game that they did. I can't think of it.
Who made Ravenlight? Do you remember the studio?
Dude, I'm old. I gotta read. I'm
505
curious.
Games, I see a lot of their stuff in Annapurna Interactive. I see a
Annapurna,
lot of their
505
stuff.
Focus. Focus just dropped the Alien
Focus,
game
yeah,
too.
you're right. Yeah. Paradox is another one too. That would be a good one because they're the ones that make city skylines and stuff. I don't Microsoft doesn't have anything like that, so that'd be great for them to get something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously Sega, so they are looking at Sega. That is so good. I'm glad that's true because
Oh,
I was like, this sounds too good to be true.
it's Coco Cucumber.
Let me see.
I can't believe I forgot that. That's the guys who did Ravenlock.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're
they did
not
that
on
other.
there.
They did two other games too. So you can see as progressively with each game they get better and better.
Yes, yeah. I bet you though, it's probably some Korean and Japanese games studios that are up and coming that we are not seeing in this list. Because I know that Microsoft has to be looking at people from over. Wait, they got Housemark on here? No way, they already bought.
Oh no, that's because this was a list was from years ago.
Oh, okay.
Pearl Abyss. They should get Pearl Abyss. I've been saying that for how long? now?
Who? Pearl Abyss? What
Pearl
game?
Abyss.
Yeah, they make Black Desert Online and games like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
And then what's their new one coming out Unlimited? Descenders? This what is it? They got a new one coming out that they showed at Descenders or something like that. It looks amazing.
Roblox. Oh, okay.
And then they got Dokkaebi coming out too. I believe that's them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Tarsier Studios is under Embracer. They're the ones that made that what's that game with that little girl in the yellow raincoat and she's running around.
Oh,
and-
Little Nightmares.
yeah, that's it. They make the Little Nightmares and stuff. So they Embracer picked them up, but you know who knows if Embracer's selling studios, they could get them.
Dude, I wouldn't be. I don't know.
Because I mean, I'm hearing rumors that Embracer may sell some of their stuff. I don't know if that's true.
I hear rumors that Microsoft. Well, I'm making this rumor. Microsoft should just buy them.
They ain't
That'll
gonna
be
be able to
their
get all
European.
of them. And now I tell you another one they absolutely should get is Certain Infinity. I think they should get Certain Infinity.
Didn't they have like I just heard somebody talking about they kind of had a fallout with all the stuff coming out about Perfect Dark. Weren't they
Yeah.
working? But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's old news though. I really do
oh yeah,
because
and
it
I'm
just
not saying it's bad. I'm not saying
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I
maybe they
think
just couldn't work.
it was rough in the beginning, but it's a new studio trying to get all that. I think it's all settled now because you haven't heard anything about them. I think with Crystal working underneath what's his guy name, David Gallagher or whatever, I think it's fine
Hmm.
because he led that team before. I don't think it's doom and gloom anymore. I think in the beginning, yeah, you had all those developers leave and all that stuff. I know that was bad, but all studios have to go through that. Another thing is the Undead Labs had to go through some stuff. It was some internal stuff that went on, but then after a while you didn't hear anything else. That's just the natural part of owning studios. You got people that are in studios, and whenever you're dealing with people, you're going to have some kind of issues. That's just how it is. You have to manage it.
Well,
That's all.
they're creatives as well, so that's kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah. And with the initiative, they had a lot of creative people, and I
uh
think that I
High
think that
end
was a
too.
lot of I think it was a case of too many Chiefs, not enough
I
Indians, if you
agree.
will.
I'll be
I
honest with
agree.
you guys. I absolutely love that. In fact, I think that's why they did the company like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
wanted a lot of great ideas, but these people don't want to, no, I always believe, and this to me, this is like a biblical principle, that a
Hmm.
great leader knows how to serve.
Yeah.
oh,
And whenever you got leaders that don't know how to step back and let other people who might be stronger in some aspects and stuff serve, or just let one voice speak so that there's some sense of unity in the group, then you have chaos. And I think that's the problem. I think too many egos are probably involved, but
well,
you don't, a lot of times leaders will not step back and serve, and it's not a bad thing to serve.
well,
Hmm.
as a Disney and Marvel fan,
Hmm.
I wholeheartedly support that type of process because, or else
Right,
on the flip side, you're gonna have a bunch of zombies, and then you're
right,
gonna come out
right.
with trash.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah.
like the movies, like
Wilkin said
I
he
went and
would.
watched the Spider Verse, Across the
Oh, you
Spider
saw
Verse.
that?
Hmm.
Okay.
That movie is like totally amazing.
Oh,
Like it
Oh,
totally
nice,
blew me away.
okay.
nice.
Yeah, I know. Like I know it's hard for like a Sony thing, but it was kind of funny because it reminded me a little bit of how creative Sony used to be way back in the day.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. They don't have anything now. It's just like they copying off of everybody at this point.
Yeah. And that's why I like what I like that type of process. I think it's important for Microsoft to at least have one studio like the initiative that can do that.
Uh-huh.
Right. I still think the initiative is perfectly fine. They just need to be slimmed
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, me
They was a little bit bloated. You just kind of, put a little diet on and slim yourself up. Now you all prettied up and you're ready to go. So I think they just had too many people
well, it's just like with
in
the
high
Redfall thing, the
level.
stuff that was coming out, some people were complaining, but then those people left, and they left of their own free will. So
They did. They
yeah, so
did.
that's another thing. It's like, hey, if you don't like where you're working, man, just go.
But I bet you though, now that Microsoft owns them, Arcane can build out however they want to build out.
Oh
Then
yeah,
if they got to rebuild out, then let them rebuild out. That's what happens. And Microsoft suffered that through the initiative, and I think it's fine. Sometimes you just have to do that, and you have to start over. A lot of people make it seem like, oh, like who is that? Rare? Is it Rare? With Everwild, because they had to start over. Sometimes it's better to do that than release some crap. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather them say, okay, this isn't working. We might have had a good idea, but this isn't working. So let us just start over from scratch and let us, really look
I
at what we're trying to do. If that's what they did.
I'm gonna say this. I don't even think a lot of these games are having the development issues. I think it's just a normal process, but that's being reported
Right.
yes,
negatively. That's
100%.
what I think.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
it's anything like that, but these guys got
Yeah,
something to write about.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
because
Microsoft is sucking
yeah,
on the ass.
because no way every Microsoft game has had trouble in development. They said that with
exactly.
Halo. They said that with
Yeah.
Everwild. They said that with Redfall after it came out. They're saying that with
Hmm.
Perfect. No, that's not how it happens. What's the reality is this is the normal process. This is an industry that has normal what's that term when people come and go through work?
Turnover. Yeah,
Thank you. Have normal turnover.
yeah.
And of course there are going to be some people that don't like their jobs. That's also super normal. There are people at my job who don't like their job. I don't. I
Hmm.
love my job, but
Yeah.
there are people anywhere you work that don't like their job. And of course they're going to be more vocal then like if somebody walked up to somebody who ate their job, they're gonna, man, yeah, screw that place, man. The boss is this, they do this and this wrong. Then then so and then not only that, that's juicier. That's juicier for the media than people
Yes.
who are having a good time developing these games. Because what are you gonna say? The development team at Bethesda love the process. Then nobody's going to click on that, and nobody's going to be fake outrage. That, that these games are quote unquote having issues when it's just the normal. It's just listen, by their logic, where's factions?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that. Like, where is factions? How many times did what's that, fractions
Yeah.
start, stop, restart, you know get some editing, start back again, stop. I mean, it had to be like that, and then now it's canceled. It couldn't have been perfect all the way through. If it was, the game would be coming out by now. So
Yeah. No. If it was perfect, would have released with The Last of Us 2 like it should have.
yeah.
People forget we're 3 years in, and that game is still, that promised game mode is still nowhere to be found.
Yes, that's true.
That's something that only Sony could get away with.
That's true. I mean, they get away with murder now. I mean, I can't believe how much governments and the media and just fans will do all of this for one monopolistic company. I just can't believe that what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, if Sony ever succeeds in that, like if somehow by some miracle they got rid of Nintendo and Xbox, because they have to get rid of both of them,
Mhm.
and they was all that's left, I'll be done gaming. I'd be done, because I already know what's coming down the pike at that point.
Yeah, I'd be a retro gamer at that point.
I would too. That'd be it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be seeing me making videos like Sega Man used to do.
Yeah.
Here's my collection of the 3DO and the Odyssey 2.
You be wearing this hat,
Yeah.
making videos just like him.
Yeah.
With the backlog of games we have, that's another reason why I'm not worried about Microsoft. They've invested so much time and money, and they're right on the precipice.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about so many other external forces trying to stop them, like trying to make sure they don't grow, that they don't survive in the industry.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about.
That's mostly Sony.
Yeah,
That's mostly Sony's the only one that got that issue.
And the idiot FTC, like some of the questions they was asking, I said, "Wow, are they on Sony's payroll? They're up there actually negotiating with Xbox while they're in a business deal."
That was funny.
Unbelievable.
Well, then that's another thing too. That's like frustration as well.
Mhm.
Frustration was hitting as well. So that's why I was kind of laughing about it, because when you listen to it over time, right, when you start digging like that.
Mhm.
And another thing to remember, it's a lot of politics. All it takes is like just the switching of a certain political party, and then FTC can totally change.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But
Extremely
Microsoft.
true.
I saw this.
People don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to point this out, but people don't realize that during the Trump years, there is a lot of mergers that went through because they tend to be a little more business friendly.
Yeah.
So what corporations were doing was that they were trying to get mergers before the political change.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, so
there's
after that,
politics involved.
yeah. So now that Democrats are historically not as business friendly.
No.
So now they try to double down, especially towards big tech, and Microsoft is big tech. They're trying hard. This is a very one-sided battle. They're not winning at all against big tech, but the Democrats are trying hard to fight against.
They are.
I tweeted this, dude. I tweeted this on Twitter, and I basically put big tech versus big government. Ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know what it is? It's basically like Loki and Doctor Doom got together, so they got rid of the Avengers, and now they have to fight each other, right?
Yeah.
You're not wrong about that. Oh, there he goes.
Oh yeah, good. Hey guys, I'm about to head out, man. I'm about to head out,
Yeah.
so I'm
glad I caught you. I don't know when you're gonna do your show, but
I'm back.
welcome back, Ebot. But anyway, when you do your show, I guess the topic, let that be Sega. Talk about that Sega potential
Yeah.
acquisition.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
see.
Listen, we're going to get some more great stuff this week as they're going to be back in
Oh
court
yeah, get your box
tomorrow.
Oh, you want to
So
accumulate a lot before you do your
Oh,
show? Okay,
yeah,
by
smart.
the
Yeah.
end,
yeah.
by the end of this trial, forget it's gonna be a complete nightmare. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it's this is the most entertaining trial since O.J. Simpson, man.
And
Yeah,
I say, wait till the weekend. Then you might have a lot of
Yeah.
information by
No,
then.
no, I don't really like doing weekend podcasts. I'll probably do it
Oh,
Thursday or Friday.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever if I do weekend stuff, it's very rare because I got a pretty busy social life, so I mean,
Same. Yeah, 'cause that's
yeah,
why I don't really like to do stuff on the weekends when I can't help it. I
yeah,
guess if
man. I mean,
the best day for me would be Thursday. If you do Friday, I
yes,
might not be able to come. So
okay, I'll keep that in mind. But you guys
okay,
have a good night, and I'll be
All
listening in
right.
the chat.
okay. Take care, Lee.
Later.
All right.
You know, what ended
And
up happening in the middle of doing the show? My phone just started doing an update and forced me to do it. I was like,
oh
no!
Yeah, that's what
no,
I
he
figured. Like either you lost power or something happened.
Oh my god,
We didn't
terrible.
touch on the Sega stuff yet. So I mean, if
yeah.
you
I
want to do it
mean,
at another time,
yeah, because I mean,
that's
I
fine
don't
too.
know. I mean, I have to leave at like 3, for sure, at 3 a.m. my time. I can't stay up all night. I got to get up in
Oh
the
no, that's
morning.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like I
But
said, it's kind of impromptu.
yeah, I want to hear what he has to say. But if he wants to hold it for like a earlier podcast, I can wait.
Oh, for sure. It's fine. Whenever you're available. I have no problem.
Yeah,
I
because
have a problem.
we're all like Sega fans here, so
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say about it. That's why I'm like, oh man, especially Sega Forever. I mean, look at his name and stuff. I say, oh, Sega man, he bought. Like, yeah, I want to hear this.
Mhm. It's
Just
just a
consider
fun
me a
time. It's a
fan
fun.
that want
Well,
to hear you guys. I'm just like your number one fan. I want to hear it.
Oh, thanks. Dude.
thank you. No, we were saying like we've been saying this for the longest. How it's really
Yeah,
the importance of an acquisition like this,
right.
and what it means long term. For someone like Sega that they're really on the verge of at one point, and still I think it's not too far away, but at a point of going away, right? As a company,
Yes, they were very
because
close.
they're hurting so bad. But
Yeah,
I think thanks to the help of certain things like Game Pass deals that they did,
yeah.
and with the Yakuzas and trying to do other things, if doing more deals with other companies other than PlayStation and obviously Nintendo, because that didn't work for them too well, even though they did that four game Sonic deal, right?
Hmm.
Um, which they gave him other stuff as well because Mad World was published by them, and that game is criminally underrated because it was done by Platinum Games as well.
Oh,
It should be on other platforms. Yeah.
right.
It's the same thing
Yeah.
like Tosadonko versus Capcom. That game is one of the best fighters that came out from the time, and it's still stuck on the Wii. You can't even
Oh
play it.
goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
You know
That's
what I'm saying? You can't even play it. I mean, I'm playing it through the emulator via on my Xbox, but
hmm
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about natively have it available to everybody.
exactly. Because not everybody even have knowledge on how to emulate or even want to bother with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have every Nintendo game emulated on my Xbox.
Oh
Like I could
wow.
play it via DevKit, and I could also record it and stream it on DevKit mode. Because when you get the DevKit mode, what a lot of people don't know is that you could share with two other units.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you pay the $20 for the DevKit mode, but you essentially have access to the DevKit mode on 3 consoles.
Oh, all right. Wow, that's nice. That's really
Which
nice.
they don't tell you, and a lot of people don't tell you that, especially the ones the naysayers that love talking shit about Xbox. It won't tell you those little details, right?
Yeah, I think that's up to Xbox though. They need to get that out more. I think that knowledge because that's one of my complaints. Sometimes they don't say enough about the little things that really enhance your experience on Xbox.
Well, it makes
I
sense because let's say me and you are making a game as developers, right?
hmm
It would make sense that we pay the fee, but we have access it for on multiple consoles because we're working
exactly,
together, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So it makes sense, but then again, they won't tell you. That's why you need people like us that are not afraid to go toe to toe and with anybody, right? And kind of basically kill all the rhetoric or the nonsense when they try to say things that are not true or they say false information, because that's one of the biggest habits and problems in this community is the guys that are not for gaming or Xbox or or that don't really respect the culture, right?
Right.
They don't they don't really they love bringing out false information and talking about it for the clicks and views, but don't have the responsibility to be truthful or to do the look into the details and bring it out for those that maybe don't know
Right. Right.
how to access it, right? Because it
Right.
is Microsoft's one of their duties to come out and be more uh, communicative, right?
Yeah.
Communicating to so that
Yeah.
people know the messaging. But
Right.
some
Right.
people don't be on social, right? When it comes
That's
for gaming,
true.
some people don't be on Instagram or don't know the insides and the outs of gaming that deep. They just go to the
Right.
store, buy a console, and they buy and play, and they really don't know that, right? The ins and outs. So, if they see a video like ours, it'll help. Or run into someone like us in a YouTube video, it'll help. And these dudes, they don't care about doing what's right because they just worrying about what's best for their pocket, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Not for the integrity of the culture or the gaming industry. So that's the biggest issue too there. Big, big, big problem, big problem, you
Yep.
know? And this has been there not just now, it's been for a long time. It's just now since, so much people have access to the to this to the YouTube scene. It makes it a lot easier for everybody to have a voice. But just because you have a voice don't mean you have you can talk without having responsibility is what I'm trying to say, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's the key, being responsible. So
Yeah. But yeah, you're right about that. But I say though, man, this information though that's been coming out, that's
oh
been
my
a
gosh.
lot. There's been
Oh
so
yeah.
much to absorb. I've been man, every time I look, there's something else popping up. I'm like, is this real? And then
Right.
yeah, it seems like it's real. I mean, all these email drops and all this information that's coming out about Xbox. I think I have a complete picture now that I'm
Well, all
seeing
that,
all this information come out.
right, all that information is like I was saying earlier, right? Because my sons were always like, oh, but Microsoft really don't really make no moves, they don't really talk. I was like, look, and now they've been trying to do this stuff
Trying,
for
yeah.
the longest. The thing is, you don't show the card that you've dealt, right? When you're doing poker, like I was saying earlier, you're not supposed to do that because that's how you. In other words, in order for you to win, you got to keep your opponent guessing. That's
Right,
the whole
right,
point.
right,
But unfortunately, because you're in court, it's an under oath. They're gonna grind you because they want to find out, well, why you want to make acquisitions? Who were you trying to buy? For what reason? What were your intentions? You get what I'm saying? And all that other stuff.
I also think the FTC wants to expose as much to of Xbox's business practices to Sony. I think they're
Because they're
trying
trying to
to.
see if their business practices are malicious.
Right, they are
You see?
very much so. But I think that although this stuff is coming out as it is, I think number one, yeah, now Sony knows who they're dealing with, and I think now they know the truth and they understand that they're not friends, that they're enemies. Also,
Right.
and I believe Microsoft view them as that. If you're threatening their existence, if you're threatening their ability to even exist, of course you're an enemy. You're not a friend,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think trying to pretend and be that way, I always was foolish to me. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think that at the end of the day, they want Microsoft to look bad in this, but really it makes Sony look horrible, like as a
Oh yeah. It
company.
made them look worse.
It made them look even worse because
Mm-hmm.
although the FTC wants to protect Sony and all this stuff, fine, you can do that all you want, but that stink that's coming off of Sony is now on you, because you're not regulating them. And if anything, I like this because it's shown people that our government is not looking out for the consumer right now. As it stands, they're not doing that. So don't expect that out of anything that they're doing is all political. And so maybe it always was, I don't know, but just like Unlimited said, that usually this is not always the case, but usually when you have Republicans in office, they're pro business, so a lot of times a lot of stuff get passed, right? But
Mhm.
when you have Democrats in there, a lot of things get blocked because they don't like big business, right? So I really wish there was a balance there, but that's just neither here or there.
Well,
But
I can tell you this about why they're doing that right now. Because for these guys actually align politically. Most people in tech and most people in like the government outside,
mhm,
they share the same ideology,
yeah,
right?
they do,
So that's why
they
I
do.
tell people is like it's really power and control, right? So these guys, like a lot of people are talking about the Japanese and why we're
Mhm.
supporting the Japanese companies. Like a lot of these guys believe in like I don't mean to put my tinfoil hat on, but I'm just gonna say, be honest, right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
They're looking at like one world order, kind of one, big government, that kind of stuff,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So,
Well,
you know,
maybe big big tech and big businesses threaten them and their power,
oh, it is, yeah, because they,
because they some of them like taking Microsoft, the amount of money that they make and stuff, they could be a country unto themselves,
yeah.
So maybe that's a threat to them,
So
I don't
that's
know.
why Microsoft was doing all the right things, they thought, by
Yeah,
appealing to these people,
yeah.
right? But like when I saw them doing that, I was like, dude, it doesn't matter, dude. You're
It
stepping
doesn't
into their
matter.
territory now.
Exactly,
They want to
exactly.
regulate because through regulation, that's how they can control you,
Yep.
and they can't
But
control it because they're not good enough to manage, as we can see, anything technical,
No.
right?
Yeah, they've embarrassed. I mean, gosh, Lena Khan has embarrassed America, and
yeah,
literally
plus another
embarrassed us.
another thing is that a company with that much, wealth, right,
Right,
and resource, you can't bully them, right? You can't tell them what to do,
right,
and you can't really push them around
right.
because they can pretty much buy off anybody, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So that's why somebody like Nina Khan is trying to make a name for himself. Because she's trying to act as if Microsoft is this big bad wolf, and they're going to show you that just because you got money, you can't do whatever you want in this country. The
Right,
government runs it.
right,
You get what I'm
right.
trying to say?
Yeah.
And since she's in office right now, she wants to make a name for herself, right?
Hmm.
She's not even doing it for the betterment of protection of, let's say, the economy, society, people, the future of economy. No, he just wants to prove a point. Like, I'm a woman in charge and power, which is fantastic because it doesn't matter if it's woman or male, as long as you're doing the right thing, right?
Hmm.
And your intents are correct or for the right reason. She's
Right,
just doing it because she's trying to prove a point. Like, I'm a woman in power, and we're not going to let we're going to show these big tech companies you can't run over us. And we control you. What we say. See what I'm saying?
right, right,
Because that money gets my favor. But Microsoft hasn't been that type of company in a very long time.
right,
They're just a very different type of company now.
right.
With that,
I don't think they care though. They don't care. Microsoft could be the most benevolent company out there. There are no benevolent companies, but let's pretend that there were. Okay,
mhm,
and
mhm, mhm.
they could
I get
be,
your point.
giving to charities. They could be like, all of this. They don't care. They just like control. It's the same thing that I see even on in low levels. Like I'll be like, why is these people trying to control this particular thing? It has
Right,
nothing to do with the government and what they should do, but they want control of every little tiny aspect of every particle of your life,
right, right.
and
Mhm,
it's no different with big business. They want control of that too, and then a lot of times, half the time, they think you're working for them, like you're a slave or something like that, like every penny you earn belongs to them. I mean, I see that, I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's what I see.
mhm.
Sometimes the government acts like it's entitled to stuff that it's not entitled to,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know
for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah,
can tell
so
you, I can tell you this much because I'm a government worker. The
okay,
problem with government is, right, is that it creates things, but then they never go away. And so a
that's
lot of
right,
times you find yourself justifying your job, right? Like when
right,
they do programs or when there's a need for something, right? It's important that you have it in there. I'm not saying regulations are bad, but
Mhm.
also when you're a person in that type of position and that you're going to be regulating people, you yourself, since you mentioned the Bible earlier, right? I'm pretty sure you know
Mhm.
this, right? There's a
Right.
there's a greater responsibility that falls upon you, right? To
Mhm.
It
be
is.
to be
It is.
without reproach, as we say, right?
Right.
You should
Exactly.
so you should have like this righteous indignation upon you, and you should hold yourself to the most highest standard. And like I
Right.
said, as a person who works in the government, that is not the case.
I
Right.
know. But it is a principle that is supposed to be practiced. That like
Yes.
if you're going to be in a position of judging others or influencing a lot of other
Yes.
people's life, you have to stand. You have to be like the pinnacle of what's available among the public. So you can't be in a position like that if you yourself don't have your own house in order. Pretty
Yes.
much that's
Yeah.
basically the principle of that. If you can't get your own house in order, you can't govern over other people
Right.
because you can't govern in your own home. Basically. So
Mhm. You can't govern other body's home. You can't even if you don't know how to govern your own. I know
that's
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, those
Like
are good
I'm not gonna
principles.
tell you how to run your home if I can't even run it. I have
You can't
control
do
over
your
mine.
own. Yeah.
Well, that's a. I mean, just to be serious for a second, that's another great point. That's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people nowadays worried about what other people are doing instead of
Yeah.
worried about themselves. That's something I
Exactly.
told my
Yeah.
kids. Like when they were younger, like they would point at another. I remember my son. He pointed at this other kid saying, because I scolded him, and he pointed at this other kid, and I looked at my son and I said, "Are you? Is that my son?" And my son looked at me and said, "No." I said, "Who's my son?" And he looked at, and he said, "You are. I am. I am that." I said, "That's right. Don't worry about other people. Worry about yourself."
Right. Right.
And that's the problem with a lot of these people. They just have too much. Look. I mean, everybody. Look, I like the saying, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What can start off as something good or worthwhile or something you think that might be needed, but then to have a little bit of discernment, right? When things start moving, and then be able to look at things and say, hey, maybe this isn't what we're supposed to be. This is
Right.
changing, right? That kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of ironic too, my brother, because and I didn't mean to cut you off for a day. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to add to what you guys are talking and reflect. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of ironic because that's kind of what Sony's doing. They're telling Microsoft, no, you got to share your games with us even though you own them, but we're not going to share yours even though we don't.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say? Like,
Well,
what
their fans,
the
Unbelievable.
fuck?
yeah, their fans are the worst. The
Very
fans are the most
hypocritical.
hypocritical. Like
They
like
think
you can look at that and say,
Very hypocritical.
they actually believe they're entitled to all games, including Microsoft's games.
Yes,
yeah,
even
Like,
if they own them, even though whatever they have exclusive that they don't even own, they're like, no, you can't put that on Xbox. You bugging. Like, they really think they have that power.
look, I tell you, my jaw dropped to the floor when I heard that Sony wanted Grounded, a game
Yeah,
that never had
yeah,
any
yeah.
hope of going over there on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
They wanted
yes, yeah,
Grounded.
yeah.
That blew my mind. Why would
Yeah,
you want Grounded when you know that comes from a first party studio? It was never ever going to leave Xbox's platform. Well, why would you want something you can never have?
right, right.
Unbelievable. That one
Yeah,
really
yeah,
surprised me. Like I can see them asking for Starfield, even though they need to shut up now. But
right.
Grounded, like I couldn't believe that. But yeah, that's such a level of entitlement that I have no words to describe it.
Well,
So
I like what Matt Booty said in that email. That was amazing.
yeah, yeah. Do you get upset? Like, do you feel like because you don't need to get an Xbox, you can get a PC, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel upset when people say that kind of stuff? It's like it's almost like it's not just on Xbox. In fact, Microsoft has gone through great pains to say that you can get it's on PC as well.
Yeah. I'm grateful that they did that because I
Yeah,
wouldn't have known about Xbox. I bought their games before I got it on Game Pass. I was buying their games.
yeah,
I just
Hmm.
saw them as good games. And then I was like, because I didn't care where I got my games. I didn't really scrutinize it. I just
Hmm.
picked up a game if it interested me.
Yeah,
And then
right.
all of a sudden I heard about Game Pass. I said, well, let me check that. Then I was like, wait a minute. I got that game. I got that game. I said, all of those are
Right.
Xbox games because I didn't think Xbox would make I got the Oris. I
Right. Like
got
you didn't even know they made it, right?
yeah, I didn't even think that way. I just
So let
picked
me
up the
ask you
game.
something. Yeah, let me ask you something. Now that we're in the topic of PC as well, right?
Right, yeah.
I've been telling people, right, like PC elitists. I'm not talking about you because you're a totally different person.
No, I'm not.
And
Yeah,
you look at things in a totally different way, right? Which is awesome.
right.
But I've told a lot of PC elitists, when I mean elitists, is those guys that go, fuck Xbox, they suck, you don't need an Xbox, you got a PC, right?
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you do realize the reason why PC has gotten even more substantially prominent, right? Or even worth having for gaming because Xbox is a big part of that, right?
It is. It is.
And they're like,
X-
no, it's not. Fuck out of here. PC had everything before Xbox. I'm like,
I
dude,
don't
you guys
know.
you didn't even
Yeah.
have online service ecosystem unless you paid individually per game, like dedicated servers, until Xbox made Xbox Live part of PC. because Xbox Live brings dedicated servers for free for all their games and whoever wants to use it. When you
Right.
used to play on PC, let's say you played Battlefield through their service on EA, in order for you dedicated service, you have to pay for that shit separate.
Right.
Unless you use something else that was illegal and use the, dedicated server illegally to play the games, but then they won't count anything you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are ways around that. But I'm talking about legally, right?
Legal,
Natively, in
yeah.
other words,
Right.
right?
Right.
And these guys be hand over fist, be like, "Oh, nah, you're bugging." So, do you feel as a PC person that
Mm-hmm.
also, or predominantly played on PC first, and that kind of graduated to, or moved over to a console as well as you've been going along, but
Right.
that predominantly played on PC? Do
Right.
you really feel believe that PC is a better place because of the support that Xbox is giving?
I think to me, Xbox is synonymous with PC
Right.
because I've gamed for a long time, and I some of those games I was going through the Microsoft. It used to be a thing. Like one time when I played Resident Evil 5, I remember some years ago. This was a long time ago,
Okay.
and it was going through something with Windows. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't
Okay.
remember. It was a check-in that you had to go through with that, and that's how I made my first account with
Okay.
Microsoft. Okay. So I was used to working through Microsoft to play some of my games. Like I was, so to me, that's why I've said this before. I always thought, well, Microsoft had games that was in Windows, and I always saw it as synonymous. I knew they had an
As one,
Xbox.
like one, as one
Yeah, but I
altogether.
always
Right.
thought that they were always moving in and out of PC. That's from my perspective. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I perceived it. So I never
Right.
saw Xbox as being something fundamentally different. But I
Right.
understood there were some games that, like, I didn't play Halo until because Halo didn't exist until, for me, until the Master Chief collection came out.
Hmm.
And then I was able to get all the Halos. A friend bought it for me. He said, "Have you ever played Halo?" And I said, "No, I never owned the Xbox." And then he said, "Let me get it for you." So he said, "We can
Hmm.
play it together." And I said, "Okay." And I was like, "All right, I
Hmm.
don't mind." I said, and that's a first person shooter, right? He said, "Yeah." So we got in there, got to playing it, and I fell in love with it. I was like, "Wow, this is
Hmm.
so good." But
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
yeah, it was like it was through the games. The games is what pulled me to Xbox, and to me, like I said, I see it as synonymous. Now, I would say this: I've met PC people who are like that. They just like the PC, and I understand. Some of these people are usually heavily into modding, um, and all of that, and that's fine. I don't agree with putting down the consoles though, because I came from console.
Right. Okay.
I started with arcade, then moved, graduated over to console, and then graduated over to PC. After the Dreamcast died, that was when I took my first foray into PC. it was after the Dreamcast,
Hmm.
after
Hmm.
Sega left. I
Hmm.
did that. That's when I did
That's
it. But
that's that's what I'm talking about. Being
yeah,
loyal. That's what I'm talking about.
but and then eventually I got console because there was some games I was interested in
Right.
console,
Right.
but
Right. For sure. For
but
sure.
yeah, and it was hard learning how to play on PC at first, coming from
Hmm.
console.
Hmm.
um I do not sugarcoat things when I tell people stuff. It took me a long time to figure out how to work keyboard and mouse and get good at it, but
Right. And adapt to it. In
yeah,
other words, and
adapt to
adapt
it.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so different. But
Mhm.
I do tell people who are on console, you can do both. Like you can use a keyboard and mouse with a Xbox. So yeah, some games are
Mhm.
better suited for a keyboard and mouse. Just
Mhm.
and then others are better suited for controllers. That's why I have a controller on my PC because
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
just better suited for it. So I just it to me all of that just is one to me. The Xbox ecosystem, especially now, I really feel like it's almost seamless. It's not entirely, because sometimes some games exist on the console even if you have Ultimate, and some games are just on PC Game
Mhm. Mhm.
Pass. So I would
Mhm.
love for that to go away. Like if my biggest wish is that if Xbox can really completely merge that, like you can just play any of them anywhere you want. That would be great, but it's not really entirely like that yet.
Well, I think
Most
they
of it
do
is,
it. I
you
think they
know.
do it so that they can give, like, for example, if you notice some of the stuff like Kingdom, the Kingdom series, the Age of Empires series,
Age of
for example.
Empires is one. Yeah, yeah.
Right. They try to make it where that's more synonymous with PC gamers and the key PC space. So they try to do it where they give them something that's only exclusive to PC. It's like I
Okay.
tell guys, like there's certain games on Xbox that is only exclusive to Xbox, and they're like, "Oh no, that's not true.
Oh
Every game is on PC." As I know, there isn't.
no, it's
And then when
not.
I
It's
tell them, they get
yeah,
mad. Like you got games like Comic Jumper or games like
yeah, yeah.
D4 or games
Mhm.
like the actual first what you call it what they call it's called the Forza series like Forza 5 and 6. They're not on PC, for example.
Right,
7
right.
is, but even
Yeah.
when 7 went, it was more of like a demo of 7. It was called Apex, right?
Hmm.
And for a long time, the Halos weren't all on there. It was
No,
only
they
one or
weren't
two,
on there.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I think they did that so that console gamers can have feel like okay, this is ours, and they treat us like give it to keep it exclusive because that way we can feel like there's a reason for owning the console. And the
Hmm.
same thing with PC, which I don't feel like it's like I don't see nothing wrong in that.
Right.
But if they did it where everything's available to both sides at all time, I think that's even better. I agree with you, but
I'd
I
be
think that's
willing.
why.
I'd be willing to pay for it. If I could just
Right,
have
right.
a Steam. I don't care. But I just like sometimes I'll be on the console missing a particular title. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I wish that title I could just play it here on the while I'm on my sofa or something like that. But I can't.
Right.
I have to be at the chair and the desk. Sometimes you don't want to be at your chair and the desk. You might want to
Hmm.
just take that experience straight to your couch. That's what I mean mainly with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I get you. I understand you, man. I know exactly what you mean. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm glad though that you feel that way because I be telling a lot of these dudes and they're like, "Nah, you're bugging. Like, you're
Yeah,
crazy."
it's
It's almost
PC
like they
people
act
like
like
that.
if they admit that PC is much better now for having so much support from Xbox. Like if it's almost like if they're admitting that they're like weak or something. I don't know. It's weird, but that's what it
I don't
almost seems like.
I don't know. I mean, it's pros and cons to both. I mean, PC, you gotta, you gotta do a lot of extra work in that. I'm not saying
Hmm.
it's a bad thing. It's not.
And you got
It's
to be PC savvy. And that's what I keep telling
yeah,
everybody. For
yeah,
you, it's easy because if you're PC savvy, then it's gonna be easy. But there's a lot of people that don't even know how to turn on a PC tower, right?
right.
So it's like,
And
what the hell?
they don't have to. I think it's different levels. If you get somebody else to build it, fine. I don't bother with that part of it. I just usually pick
Hmm.
out my parts. I know my parts, but
Hmm.
I just might get somebody else to put it together for me. So
Hmm.
it's how involved you want to be. I don't say it's a one size fit all for anybody. You just got people who be like into tech, like they be tech heads,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they just be upset, and that's fine. I'm just not that. I'm not obsessive over tech like that.
Hmm.
I like it when it works. But it's frustrations that come with it. Software doesn't always work the way you want. You always got to troubleshoot things and stuff.
Hmm.
That comes apart with it. But I guess what I like about console is the familiar it's familiar to me. Like
Familiarity.
it's like, yeah, yeah. It's like
Hmm. But it's
it's
easy. It's
comfortable. It's
easy.
pick up and
It's
play.
plug and play, and
Um,
it does everything for you
yeah,
from
I don't usually
updates.
have to worry about anything. Like everything tends to work right immediately. It's very rare when it doesn't. I say with PC, what I like is the freedom. Um,
That you
like
could, yeah, yeah.
you're in the internet, you can do almost anything you want to do with different games and stuff legally. I'm talking about legally. Everybody always think it's illegal.
Right,
No,
right,
I
right.
don't. I don't do illegal gaming. But if I wanted to, I can emulate legally. If I want to, I can and that's nothing people have misconceptions about. Emulation is not illegal in and of
Hmm.
itself. There's illegal
Yeah, because it's for
emulation,
personal
and
use. As long as you're not
exactly,
selling it, it's not illegal.
exactly, is that you may own the game, but like I got a friend who has Nintendo. He gets Pokemon games, but he likes to mod the games to make them harder once he beats them. He likes to play
Mm-hmm.
everything on the hardest difficulty. This is his thing,
Hmm.
right? So
That's the
he'll
thing,
he
right?
he picks up Pokemon through emulator, and then he'll go in there and from put mods in there to make it even harder, so he can get a greater challenge out of it. but he owns the game.
I
You
see.
know,
Right,
he already
right.
owns it, but Nintendo doesn't really give you a software version of it so you can, mod it. And PC people love the mod because it stretches out the longevity of your games.
Other
You
games.
you know, so like you can put skins in there, or you can even have like whole maps put in there and things like that. Like right now, Halo, what they're doing, say with the multiplayer, that's what some like with the Forge, that's what a modder would do for other games. That's the same thing. It's no different than that. It's just with Halo Infinite, they just built it into it, the game. So,
Yeah, it's built
but
in.
yeah,
Right.
right. So it's no different. If you like stuff like that, that's what really draws a lot of people into PC is that, and also not being locked into a certain performance. You get to decide what you play at based on your hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to decide that. So if you're a person who don't like a lot of limitations when it comes to that, and you pay for a high-end PC, you don't have to worry about that. You can usually, unless it's not optimized, you can play at the level you want to play. So they like that ability and freedom to do that,
Right. Right. Well,
So
it's like
those are the key points.
the talking point they're trying to say now. Oh, you're gonna play Starfield at the horrible version on console.
No,
And I'm
because
like,
consoles are
and
usually
I'm having this
reliable.
discussion back and forth arguments, telling these dudes because they
Hmm.
love coming at me. Then when I shut them down, they get mad because how I break things down.
Right,
And I told them, look, it doesn't matter how powerful. You can have a 490, a 4090 right now. I
right.
guarantee you, when Starfield comes out, you're not going to be able to play the game at full fat native
No,
4K
no,
with ultra high settings on everything, all the way
no.
up with 4K. I mean, with 60 frames per second, right?
Hmm.
Or let's say higher, right? Because you could go higher because it gives you that freedom. With
Hmm.
Dolby Atmos surround, with
Right,
4K, with Dolby Vision HDR, with
right.
DLI technology and
Mhm.
ray tracing. It's not gonna happen.
They ain't gonna have it because
It's not gonna
because
happen.
it's up to the developer. What
Mhm.
type of experience that they want you to have is what you're going to have in their game. Period. Doesn't
Plus the
matter.
game, the demand of the game, because the game's so ambitious and it's doing so much stuff.
Exactly.
It's going to be taxing. You're not gonna allow to have a lot of overhead. And these dudes think and swear up and down, say, no, what's going to happen is you'll be able to play in 60 or 120, but you'll probably be at 1440K, right,
Right.
which is 2K, or you'll
Right.
probably be able to add ray tracing, but not be at 4K resolution.
Right.
Or maybe you can have it running Dolby Vision HDR with ray tracing, but only be at 1080p at 120. You get what I'm saying? It's a give or take. You're not gonna have with ultra settings all the way high. They swear they try to make that illusion to console gamers to kind of like make them feel like they're less worthy. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna play it at the fullest maximus capacity
Yeah.
because
Don't
PC is
buy
able to
that.
do it and you're not. Like, dude, stop.
Don't buy that.
But
And Wilkins said here he bought this is for you. The PC has Dolby Atmos. It does not have Dolby Vision, he says.
right, the Dolby Atmos is compatible with Windows, but you have to have the hardware to support it to run it correctly, right? Because
Right.
most to get the real true pure Atmos, you need a surround sound that's built in, like with a headset or a
Right. Right.
receiver, right?
Right.
Which it's on Xbox. All Xbox games have it, but with Dolby Vision, it's not really there, right? So
Right.
that's an advantage that we have as console gamers. And then the other advantage that I try to tell people: think about this. You're going to be able to play a game with Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, DLI at 4K
Right.
native for 30 frames with a console that only costs $300. Because when I traded in my Xbox One S, right, or One X, right,
Hmm.
I got $230 for it. That was the trade up value. I only paid $300 for my Series X day one.
Oh wow. Wow.
So you cannot argue with me that that's not a good,
That's a
valuable
good
option
deal.
or a better option than paying, let's say, 5K for a high-end PC just so
Hmm.
that you can have higher frames.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Like speaking logically, like with realistic terms and ideas and ideologies, not thinking like a PC fanatic. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Just
Okay,
thinking
hold on.
logically.
Hold on, he about let me read what Issa said. People
Mhm.
complaining about a $500 console that can play the most ambitious game we've ever seen. Try playing Starfield with a $500 PC. It doesn't exist.
Right, right.
I
I
can tell y'all
remember.
now. I'm
eh,
not a fanatic, and I had to
eh,
pay 5,000 for my PC.
oh, that's a fact. Well, Dea, look at
Okay,
this. And
I'm
what
not
was the
even a
guy?
fanatic.
What was the gentleman that said the comment again? What was his name?
Which one?
The one
Issa?
that you read his comment.
Issa?
The guy
You
you
talking
read
about
his comment.
with the $500 console? That was
Oh yeah,
Issa.
Issa.
Yeah.
So to you and Issa, think about this. I remember when they were trying to do and build one at over there at PC Magazine when they had their YouTube channel. They were trying to build a PC at the equivalent of the Series X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And try to and only had like a certain budget to keep it at that price.
Right.
Even though when they built what they built, it still was missing. It was still was missing, the new tech, like let's say, Dolby Atmos at the side at the time, Dolby
Mm-hmm.
Vision. It didn't have a built-in 4K player, which the Xbox does have Liberty to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have, the DLI technology that was built in on the controllers that gives you low latency, which is why
Mm-hmm.
people are loving to play PC games with the Xbox controller because it works with the Xbox controller,
Yeah, I always
right?
had an extra Xbox
You know,
controller. Yeah.
well, the new controllers have DLI, which is called direct latency input. It gives
Oh.
you a minimum. Yeah, I don't know if you know, it's one of those technologies that was built in and nobody talks about it, but they want to talk about the Sony being able to blow on their controller and shit, their controller, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a technology they created for the that's on every new controller, and you can even firmware update the Xbox One controllers, right? To
Hmm.
use it. And it's basically for a latency of like point 0.2 or point 0.3, as low as that on the controller. Like really, really
Right.
responsive. That's why when you play the games, they feel even more responsive than before.
They
Like if you
do.
play
They do.
Forza, for example, like you play Forza or platformer on the Xbox One, and then you go play it on the Xbox Series X with the controller, you see
Hmm.
the difference night and day if you can feel it on the controller.
Okay. Okay.
And it's because of that, because it has direct latency input on the controller, which a lot of people try to act like it doesn't exist,
Right.
right? And that's something that completely, you know, um, enhances the experience of your gaming experience directly when you're playing the game. It's not a gimmick like a rumble feature, a speaker, or something that you can blow on so that you can see interactivity on the screen. It's
Right.
directly it directly impacts the gameplay,
Well,
which is the most important aspect of the games, right?
I look at it this way. There is no difference between console and PC in that they both drive tech. So
Yes.
like if people on the PC side didn't adopt some of this high-end tech and stuff like that, you obviously wouldn't have a thriving business when it comes to that, graphics cards, things like that. And the same is true with the innovative hardware that comes from the console side. Like that's another thing. And also most console like producers and stuff make a lot of games that's available that eventually becomes available, with exception I say to uh I say Nintendo stuff is really one I don't see, but I still actually see people playing games that third party and stuff that come from PlayStation, but of course Xbox is directly on there, but they support
Mhm.
with their software the PC too, so you get both the hardware and the software support on that side. But I just look at it as it's the same thing, but just two different markets. It's
Yeah.
no different.
Plus, I think they both
Yeah,
help each other
they do. They
thrive
help each
forward,
other. Yeah.
thrive forward with technology to enhancing. Because I think that was Phil's whole point that he said, I want console gamers to feel just as important and just as valuable, right?
Hmm.
As a PC gamer, meaning having the same options and technology. That's why they wanted to bring mod gaming
That's
to
smart.
console,
Yeah.
which
And
which
now
which Bethesda game, which they do have, right?
and the
And
Xbox is like a PC. It functions just like a PC. Yeah, it's not gonna be. It depends on. I don't know where the Xbox will fall as far as where a PC would be at. I think some people said like a 2080 or something. I don't know. But
Mhm.
it's like a PC. It functions like a PC. It acts like a PC in a lot of ways. It just doesn't do all the other stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's just
Plus, I think it's even higher than that, but the guys won't say it because remember, the Xbox Series X has features, right?
Yeah, it
That
has unique
that
things.
haven't even utilized yet
Right,
because they're not available yet. Like DirectX 12
right,
Ultimate,
right.
it's compatible with the Series X, but that's not even available. Something that they're using yet. You see
Yeah,
what
it's
I'm
some
saying?
stuff that's in the Series X that's not in the PCs yet.
Hmm.
So I see that. So
Yeah, like
like,
the Dolby Vision HDR.
right, yeah, that's not in there. You don't have
Hmm.
that there. So it's not. I don't know. I
They
think
both, I
sometimes
think they
people
both
just
complement
be.
each other well.
I do too. I look, to me, I don't see or feel a difference in that. It's just I just move back and forth between the two. It's just it doesn't matter to me. I don't care as long as I can game and I have a good experience, and I have a good experience from both. I
Hmm.
think for me, since the Dreamcast, and I've said this before, the Xbox Series X is my favorite console since the Dreamcast. That's how much I
Mm,
like it. I
okay.
really like that console a lot.
So it
Probably.
feels like well, Xbox in general, it feels like a continuation of what Sega and Dreamcast was trying to be, right?
Hmm.
In many ways. Back
That.
since the OG, if you look at it, it felt like the birth of it. And not for nothing, the OG Xbox was literally supposed to be the next Dreamcast, and that was a deal that they were trying to do with each other, and it
Oh,
didn't fall through because
okay.
of the of the ego from the Japanese side of Xbox, right? From
Right,
Sega
right,
Japan, because of
right,
their ego. They didn't want to be in business and look like the weaker party up with an American company doing their next console under an American moniker. You see what
right.
I'm saying? And that's what ended up happening. But originally, because the OG runs off the Lundenberg technology, which is the arcade graphic card that Sega had, or the most advanced one at that time in
Mm.
arcades. And that's what's in the
Okay.
OG. And they were
Okay.
supposed to be doing that as the next Dreamcast. It was supposed to be the Dreamcast too. There's a
Okay.
lot of stuff you could look up on and stuff, but because I used to love reading a lot. That's why I know a lot of information. But
Hmm.
to keep myself up to date, because I found that stuff very interesting, very especially when it came to gaming.
Right.
Um, and that's basically where I got my info from. And people are like, oh, you think you don't want anybody? Look, man, just go Google it. You'll find the
I mean, if
information.
you research and you reading about it, you have every right to say that. Yeah.
Well, because
Yeah.
they think that I do it out of like an ego trip or something. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
weird,
Yeah.
but I'm like, no, dude, I'm just trying to educate. That's my only goal here. Because if you don't know something, why would it not? Like, why wouldn't I want to teach you about it so that you know? Like, that makes me feel like I accomplished something by helping
Right.
somebody gather information and
Right.
learn something. Because that's how I felt whenever I learned anything new as I grew up from anybody. If I didn't know something, and once I knew something, like an older person telling me something, and I learned it, I used to take it as positive. Like, I want to learn from people that know more than me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I used to
But
do a
that's just
lot of
how I
reading,
looked at
so
things.
I did a lot of reading. I always enjoyed reading, and I know that's
Right.
something a lot of people don't do today. But
Oh
I,
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
read all kinds
That's
of
like a
books and
forgotten
stuff.
army, huh?
It is, yeah. So yeah, I learned a lot like that. That's how my vocabulary. I mean, I may not use all those words, but I can understand a lot of words as I read it. Because of that. Because I would like look at a word and I didn't understand it, so I had my dictionary near me, and I would always look those words up. I wasn't satisfied with just like skipping the word because I didn't know what it meant. I had to understand it. So I
Yeah,
used that
knowledge is
tip.
definitely power for sure, for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. But you have to have the patience too, because that's the thing. Because it's tedious and you need patience.
It is, yeah. But the
My
thing is,
guy, is
once
Sega
you
Man still
know it,
there? I
you
mean,
know.
Sega Forever, like he probably like,
I
oh, he about don't shut the fuck up.
I know, but I'm about to go, so he's gonna have to show up.
Yeah, I'm still
So
here. I'm
I went
talking
a
to my
little long.
daughter.
Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna have to
Mm.
wrap this up, but I
My
just
daughter's
wanted to.
working now, so she had a rough day.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's nice to see you. You're there. I didn't know it was probably late by you though, right?
It's extremely late. I couldn't sleep, but now it's hit me, so I definitely got to push myself off because I have to get up in the morning. So yeah,
For
Yeah,
real. Yeah, I got to do the
we
same
can wrap
too.
it up.
It's like
Yeah,
it's late. It's like 3:30 for us.
yeah, it is
yeah.
actually yes. So yeah,
For
you got
Sega Man, for
zombies.
Sega Forever, it's like what I think it's like. It's got to be like 9 o'clock, right?
9:30. Almost
Yeah.
9:21. Yeah.
9:21.
Yeah, so we can wrap it up and then
You
Piva, we'll
lucky
get back
devil.
together. Yeah, we'll get back together and do the Sega thing because we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
really touch it.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
for sure.
didn't really. Yeah, yeah, we definitely gonna have to talk about that because that's exciting if that ends up being what Microsoft is going to actually pursue.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't think.
can you imagine? Oh my lord.
Man, I won't be able to stop talking about that if that happens.
Oh my lord. Oh
You
my
gonna be
lord.
able to shut us up, you know?
Oh my lord.
It's gonna dominate the headlines for years.
It will. It will. That definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay,
The
but if you
ponies
guys
will be
want to shout
throwing
yourself
themselves
out
off
real
the
quick.
buildings. The ponies will be
Oh sure.
suiciding
Oh,
Go
all
okay.
ahead.
over the place.
They you first, ladies first.
Oh, okay. To close out. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for having me here. I noticed I just tagged in to get a little bit in here. I know I wasn't here for the entire thing, but it's always good to see really dedicated fans watching at this time, like
Oh yeah.
Issa, Wilkin, and who else was in here? Issa, Wilkin,
Lisa,
Pizza
Tim Fuck
time.
Tim.
okay,
Unlimited.
Mr. Kima, and
The chemo.
They
I don't even think Mr. Kima
me.
sleeps
Me
or
either.
vodka. They're always on everybody's podcast at all times.
Yeah,
They
Jay
show
was
up and
here.
they're I don't even know they sleep.
I don't
Every
either. I
time you'll
think
see vodka, Mr. Kima,
Mr.
Tool Man sometimes. Who else?
Jay was in here. Jay.
There's a
I,
Jay. I'm like, yo,
I'm starting
do
to.
you guys sleep?
I'm starting to think they're AI. I don't think they're
Hey, I,
people. Oh
hey,
man.
yeah, that's a good guess. Let me tell you, that's a good
Oh,
guess. Cause wow, how do they do it?
I don't know. But
Jesus.
man, I put it this way: the Xbox community is being represented all times, all days.
Oh, for sure.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
man.
Dedication is real.
You said
24/7.
okay. Issa said super panel fire, not AI. By the way. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for
You
showing
clarify
up.
that quick.
Thank you guys for showing up. I'm glad to be on your show. Say good forever. And you see my brain is starting to
Yeah, I know.
um oh
No,
my
that's all
gosh,
of
I
us.
can't even think. Just thank you for having me here.
Oh, this is
Oh
your
man.
home.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
This is your home. You're part of the family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at least we try to make everybody feel that way.
No, no, I actually do feel that way. Yes.
All right. I mean, excellent.
Oh
Yeah, go
heck,
ahead.
we got Phil
Oh,
Spencer in the
okay.
chat. What the heck?
Phil Spencer. Oh my God. That's an honor. That's an honor right there. Listen, guys, thanks, Sega forever for taking the time to do an impromptu real quick because I know I kind of mentioned it to you.
Mhm.
We didn't really get to hit all the notes that we wanted to, but nonetheless, it's still always a pleasure because it's hard for us due to time constraints.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Unlimited, thank you for stopping by, and everybody in the chat. It is late for us, so it
Yeah.
means a lot that you took the time to still tune in. Hopefully, we made you sleepy enough to go to sleep. So if anything good comes out of this, at least we hope you do it. Like help you go to sleep like a lullaby. Go to sleep. So guys, yeah, hopefully by the end of this week it won't be so bad that we won't be hearing about people killing themselves because it's just keep getting worse. It seems like
No.
I don't know how many ponies are gonna be left after this week.
I don't know, man. I mean, they're on suicide
I
watch
think
and
either Suicide Watch or they're gonna go on hiatus. We ain't gonna see them for a long while because it's bad. And there's still like 2 days left, 3 days left, I think. What?
oof, yeah.
Oh
It's
my
not looking
Jesus.
good. That's all I can say. It's
Oh
not
my,
looking good.
definitely not looking good. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, and you guys can find me on my channel as always on YouTube under Hebot8 or Hebot, I believe, and then on social under Hebot8 like Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch or Twitter. You can find me there as well, and Instagram is all down in the description below in my YouTube channel. You can find it there. Thanks,
Mm,
and it's been a good one. Hopefully, we could talk another one about more in depth about the Sega stuff and the
yeah.
potential of the future of that happens, which I think it will.
Wow. Wow. Nice.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you guys coming on, Dea. Thank you. Ebot as well. Unlimited, shout out to Unlimited. He was in here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does a podcast or something tomorrow. I know he's
Well,
shooting.
Unlimited is the other one. He's the new one doing the 80s world and going around the world 80 world. You know that stupid title, whatever the hell it's called.
Around the world in 80 days.
Yeah, going around the world
Oh,
80
yeah,
days
80
doing.
days,
That's what he does with the podcast. He be showing up in everybody's podcast.
Well, I know because there's going to be a lot of stuff because we didn't even touch on the Sega stuff. I mean, we could probably
No.
do a podcast tomorrow, um, when I'm done with work or Wednesday. But I mean, given maybe tomorrow because given everything that's going to come out this week with that court case,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the decision is going to be. I think the decision is on when Friday or Thursday.
Oh, is it?
Think it's
It ends this week?
think it's
Yeah, this week,
Thursday.
yeah. It's a 5. It was 5 days. So
Oh,
Thursday,
wow.
Friday, Tuesday, Thursday,
Oh.
Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh yeah, so Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Thursday we should get a ruling.
Okay.
And this
Well,
is
this
just
was
to stop the
entertaining.
FTC's injunction. Because the FTC
Well,
is trying to stop the
I
purchase.
really hope the FTC loses. They don't deserve it.
Yeah, they're horrible. They deserve to lose.
But if they don't, you know what? I'm not gonna fret it. I think Microsoft will still continue to purchase stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
build out their library. So
Yeah.
you know.
I know. I mean, if you, I mean, if you guys are out there, man, just become numb at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
don't listen to any of these guys out there. I mean, they go, they're emotionally charged. And they go with whatever the wind blows.
Yeah.
So that's why I really suggest once again for you guys to actually get to the nitty gritty. I know it's not for everybody. I absolutely love it, so it's easy for me to say because I've watched a lot of this stuff and I reread a lot of the things that they were talking about. That's why I mean, yeah, I would like to do something at least tomorrow, Hebot. I think we lost him, but to do something with Hebot tomorrow on the Sega thing because I'm pretty sure big news is going to come. And I'm that list that they showed, you can tell Microsoft already has working relationships with a lot of the companies
A
already.
lot of them.
A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of like who are they going to actually pick up, and then nobody's off the table. That's what I've been trying to tell people ever since when they did the Bethesda thing, but especially when they did the Activision thing. Once they did the Activision, the offer to purchase them, the wanting to purchase them, that's when everything changed for them. For most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So that's why to me, like Sega is not out of the, and that's why I love that email that came out.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that on Twitter have been telling me there's a job. I don't know where they get their information from. I mean, I live in Hawaii. I'm about as close to Japan as it gets. I mean,
Yeah,
we call,
you are. A lot of
yeah, we
Japanese
call,
go there too. I think they visit there.
yeah, we call Hawaii like Little Tokyo as a joke.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, a lot of
because
Japanese. Yeah.
yeah, the Asian population here is huge, right? Across the board. So you get a lot of their cross culture stuff, right? But just like any other people, Japan likes money. Japanese people everybody likes money. And when
Mhm.
you have a $1 trillion company offering stuff and giving you bennies, because one thing that people don't look about when it comes to Xbox is all the benefits you get from being under them.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
I put it this way: Japanese will be. And you know what? If the Japanese don't want that business, the South Koreans will.
yeah, and I think that's what they should be doing.
I
in
agree.
Southeast Asia.
I agree. I really want them to get some pick up some South Korean studios along with they can get the Japanese and get some other ones. You know, I don't care. But yeah, I really want them to do that. But don't lock yourself to just Japan. Please don't do that. Look some other places as well.
I mean, I know Phil's in the comment section, so no
Yeah.
disrespect. to Phil, but I mean, it to me, it's kind of like their Moby Dick at this point, and I'm like, no, you guys got to let it go at some point. Don't
Yeah.
be like Captain Ahab, man. Don't chase
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Going crazy, chasing after that white whale.
Don't do it, man. There's other
Yeah.
fish in the sea, and they just kind of look up and to the left.
Yeah.
I'm like,
This is
I
good
mean, I'm
advice
biased,
for you, Phil.
and I'm biased there, man, because I know if they start making those connections, you might get some like K drama stuff,
Oh yeah,
K
yeah.
drama stuff on sale in the Microsoft store. So
Yeah.
I have my own biases as well. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Dea. Thank you guys for in the chat. We will be having Dea gonna be putting in that shift work on Friday.
Yeah.
It's this week we'll be doing the Wrecking Crew podcast.
Yeah.
But given everything that's going on, guys, I mean, if we do podcasts, we're just gonna do them. It's just like so much stuff,
Yeah.
and
it is.
and we know like I'm pretty sure you agree with me. We're just not represented well in the media or even on the
No,
Xbox sides.
we're not. That's why you need little podcasts like this so that our voice can actually be heard. So you don't have the fakes pretending like they represent us and they don't.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like I didn't know. I think it was Zink that said on Unlimited's podcast, right? That I didn't even know that some of these pony bots, man, wanted PlayStation to have like Indiana Jones. Like, oh, just let them have it.
Yeah, they were. I heard that. Yeah, I think that might have been Zink who said it. That they were actually saying we should. They was trying to push Microsoft to put it on their PlayStation platform.
I
They're
know.
not Xbox people because unless they want some, a real Xbox person, if they did say that, they wouldn't. But let's say they did, then they say they got the Xbox needs to get something in return for their exclusive to go over there.
I know.
They're not even asking for something in return for it. So I'm like, what are they talking about? Get out of here. If you want to play, if they want to play it, they can pick up a little S like anybody else will pick up. You know, if they don't, then don't. You know, it's simple as that.
Yeah, that's getting old. That's just tiring for me to deal with. That's why I mean, if you have an acquisition like Sega, that'll just shut everybody.
Yeah. I mean, just stop asking for Xbox's games. Just stay on there, play your FF16s and all this other stuff. Do that. You know, I liked I liked Square Enix games and but I was willing to walk away from the company because it just went downhill ever since it went so close to Sony. It just downhill from here. I don't think it's the same company it used to be when I liked it back when it was Square Soft. Okay, not Square Enix.
Yeah.
You know, it was a better company then, in my opinion. But
Well,
anyway, that's a long story.
No, but everybody, I remember those days, man, and everybody was so high on that merger.
Mhm.
You know, it was
That-
another good merger everybody was high on? Disney Marvel. Look how that turned out. So,
Oh gosh, don't. This gave me nightmares now. I'm about to go.
yeah, I'm
to
sorry.
sleep.
That's a little outro for Dale. Yeah, so thank you guys, everybody, for joining Xbox All In channel, and we out.
Bye.